The Clippers on this young season, 3-2, getting good pitching from Carlos Carrasco and Scott Lewis, and outstanding offense. The Clippers leading all of minor league baseball in some key categories. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Clippers baseball here on Sports Time Ohio, alongside the 1977 International League batting champion Wayne Hare. I'm Scott Leo, and the Clippers and Bats are getting set for the second and final game of their brief series here in Columbus. And Wayne, so far, we're only 5 games in, but these Clippers have torn the cover off the baseball.
Boy, they sure have. You mentioned it, Scott. 339 team average, 611 slugging, and already hit 10 home runs in this young season. So this is, if you like offense, this is an exciting ball club to watch. It has been a fantastic start for the Clippers lineup and some good pitching as well. And the guy that those pitchers have been working with is none other than Indians' top prospect, Carlos Santana. The top prospect in the organization has already clubbed 4 home runs on the young season. Santana has just been off to a whale of a start. Boy, switch hitting catcher. I'll tell you what, he is a prospect for sure. He's down here to work with the pitchers, get a little more comfortable calling the game, and he'll be up there shortly. In addition to Santana's outstanding start at the plate, he's worked with Carlos Carrasco once this year. Carrasco getting the start here tonight, and they'll get a chance to team up for the second time. Carrasco got the win on opening night here at Huntington Park on a night where the Clippers scored him 17 runs. That's the best kind, and then he got all the support he needed. He could relax, throw his game, get into a rhythm, and he did a nice job. He was a guy that coming into the season was probably not considered realistically for a big league spot, but pitched his way into the discussion. He's number 6 right now for Manny Acta. And last but not least, here in Columbus, Russell Branyan, who's here on a major league rehab assignment. Branyan is not scheduled to play in the ball game tonight. He did get his at-bats last night. His timing is getting better, and for the big fella, it's just a matter of being able to play consistently 9 innings and have that back feel good. Exactly right. He's a big left-handed bat. He had 31 home runs last year, so this is a legitimate home run hitter in the big leagues, a dangerous bat that they could use in the big leagues. We're going to get to see the Clippers in high fashion tonight with Trevor Crowe at the top of the lineup, Jose Constanza at the bottom. You've got good speed from switch hitters on both accounts, and then, of course, the big boppers in the middle of Mike Sarbaugh's lineup. Sarbaugh in his first season managing the AAA ball club, but he's won at every level, Wayne. So even though the minor leagues are about developing players, Mike Sarbaugh's shown you can also win games. Oh, he sure can. He's a great manager. A lot of people liken him to Trey Hillman, who was here years ago and now managing the Royals. Kind of a young Trey Hillman, as I'm talking to general manager Ken Schnocky. So excited about the manager, excited about the ball club. This should be a great year. Yeah, we're going to get a chance to talk to the Clippers manager as well as pitching coach Charlie Nagy. Indians fans know that name very well. Well, of course, a stable in their rotation for years, the big right-hander, and he did a great job, and now he's teaching the same thing to this young pitching staff. It is a rally tout Tuesday night here at the ballpark, and we are excited to see the Clippers and the Louisville Bats. Let's listen in now for public address announcer Colin Smith. We're going to keep it right here momentarily here at the ballpark, getting set for the Star-Spangled Banner and the introduction of the starting lineups. This is a Louisville team, Wayne, that comes into town also, like the Clippers, 3-2, back-to-back defending IL West Division champs. You know Rick Sweet, their manager, because you played against him. Exactly right. He was in Tidewater, the Mets AAA club in '81. I was here with the Clippers and the Yankees AAA club, and Rick was a great catcher, good hitter, and always had a great attitude, kept his team on their toes, always loose. And I'll tell you what, he got to the big leagues with the Mets, and he looks like a great manager, so you could see him in the big leagues down the road, too. The Reds AAA club, much like the Indians AAA club, featuring some of their top prospects. They're on the verge. They're knocking on the door of the major leagues. Todd Frazier is the #1 prospect for the Reds. He is not in the lineup tonight. Aroldis Chapman, the Cuban sensation, pitched on Sunday. The Clippers will face him when they go to Louisville on Friday. And now we're just about ready. The lineup cards have been exchanged.
set to take on the Louisville Bats. Great introduction here at the ballpark, and we're just about ready for the first pitch. There you look at the Sodexo Sports and Leisure Louisville Bats batting order. It starts with the left-handed center fielder Josh Anderson, Chris Heisey, one of the top prospects in the Reds organization, and Juan Francisco, the big bopper. He's a free swinger.
Yeah, he can hit the ball in a mini ballpark, behind the line, big power hitter, left-handed. Just getting going here in the opening series with the Clippers. Hadn't had a home run yet, but look out, he can hit it a long way.
The cleanup hitter, Danny Dorn, the DH, was the only guy to get a hit against the Clippers last night. He had 3 of them. Everybody else was 0 for against left-hander Scotty Lewis. It'll be Drew Sutton, Zach Cozart, Wilkin Castillo, Chris Valleca, and Corky Miller to round out the starting 9 for the Bats. Carlos Carrasco getting the start for Columbus here tonight, his second appearance of the season and his first look at this Louisville lineup this year. Worthington Industries brings us the Clippers defense. Carrasco and Santana teaming up again. Hodges over at first, West making the move across the diamond, Anderson Hernandez at second. Jason Donald at short with his former teammate Carrasco on the mound from Philadelphia. They, of course, both came over in the Cliff Lee trade. Busher at the hot corner, Jimenez, Constanza, and Crow across the outfield. And Carlos Carrasco says he's ready to go to work as Santana fires that last warm-up pitch down to second base. Carlos Carrasco, the 23-year-old from Venezuela, one of 4 Venezuelan starters in the Clippers starting rotation. And the right-hander rocks and fires, and a bouncing ball to second from Anderson, and that's how this game is underway. 1 pitch and 1 out for Carlos.
Gotta like that. Not my philosophy as a leadoff man, at least the first time up. You know, take a pitch or 2, take a look at him, help your teammates out. But he hit the first fastball into the ground, and we have an easy out, 1 down.
Well, we talked about Louisville's struggles last night against the Clippers. We'll see if they can fare any better. If your name was not Danny Dorn last night, then you were in a world of hurt against Scott Lewis. Carrasco against Chris Heisey. First pitch a strike. Heisey, the number 4 prospect according to Baseball America in the Reds organization. He's the right-handed batter in the top of the lineup. The other 3 of the first 4 are lefties. Fouls this one back against the screen.
Yeah, he can do it all. They call him a 5-tool player, so he can run, he can hit, he can throw. He can do it all. They're looking for him, big things for him in Cincinnati years to come.
Carrasco, fastball, curveball, throws a slider, has a changeup as well. He pitched really well in spring training and kind of pitched his way into the discussion for the big league staff. David Huff ended up winning the final spot. So Carrasco is number 6, if you will, the ace of the AAA starting rotation.
One sore arm or a few bad outings by somebody up there, and he could find himself in Cleveland.
Carrasco delivers the 1-2, and a check swing foul ball to the first base side and into the seats.
Well, list early on, a couple pitches here, Scott. It looks like that fastball is running pretty good for him, sinking down and into the right-handed hitter. And that looked like a changeup or off-speed pitch.
Carrasco dealt from Philadelphia. He was with the Phillies AAA club in Lehigh Valley last year at the time of his trade in the Cliff Lee deal. Foul ball back here over the roof. It'll hit off the Huntington Park lettering on top and fall down into the seats.
You got a chance to get a baseball here?
Quite possibly.
I might have to bring my own fishing net out.
How big's the net?
It's big.
Then you've got a shot. Here's the 1-2 for Heisey. Did he go?
Yes, he did.
He did, and we will have our first strikeout of the game for Carrasco, 2 away here in the first.
Sharp breaking slider down and away. That's a tough pitch for anybody to hit. He started off or couldn't hold up, and we have 2 outs.
I think with Carrasco, one of the real advantages is that at a young age, he has always had a good head on his shoulders. He knows how to approach each and every start. And working with Carlos Santana behind the plate is going to help both of these guys immensely as they get ready to go to the big leagues. Juan Francisco, the batter, the left-handed hitting third baseman tonight, but He's bouncing all over the place. He'll play some first base and see some time in the outfield spots. Big swing there, but he was way late on the fastball.
Exactly right. I'm thinking maybe that's if you're going to pitch the guy, there's my first hint. Give him the high heat and let him chase it, because he was way behind it. Way behind that one too.
Got a piece of this one and sent it out of the ballpark on the third base side. Partly cloudy skies in Columbus tonight. Pretty good conditions for baseball. 62 degrees for our first pitch. Folks are still making their way into the ballpark. Another foul ball. Carrasco just keeps peppering them with those fastballs at 93 miles an hour.
And up in the zone, because those are really probably are balls if he would take them, but they're too tempting. They look so big when they're up at your shoulders or your eyes and can't lay off. Good way to strike out a big free swinging lefty.
Here's the 1-2. And he got him, went away from the fastball, and gets the strikeout to take care of business in the first.
Yeah, came back with the slider down and in, and it's probably a ball too, but it was looked too good to chase it. Nice pitch.
Good start for Carrasco and the Clippers. After a half, Louisville nothing, and Columbus is coming up. Here come the Clippers for the first time tonight against Louisville in game 2 of a 2-game set, but these teams are going to see each other again in just a few days when the Clippers head down to the Bluegrass State.
Well, it's early, Scott, but you know, looks like a pretty competitive division. Indianapolis came in, we split, and now we have Louisville. So, of course, we haven't seen Toledo yet, too early, but could be a very competitive division.
Trevor Crowe will lead off and play in right field. The switch hitter will be followed by Jason Donald, the shortstop, and then, of course, Carlos Santana batting third in the Clippers lineup. Shelly Duncan DHs. And then Wes Hodges bats fifth and plays first. Brian Busher at third, hitting sixth. Anderson Hernandez, the second baseman, bats seventh. Chris Jimenez hits eighth and left, and Jose Constanza will bat ninth and plays center field. Crowe looks at a first pitch strike. Trevor Crowe, 6 for his first 22 with 5 runs batted in. Looks at one here, and it'll be a ball and a strike. Crowe has just been off by a bit. His timing has resulted in a little bit more fly ball action than he would like, but he squares this one up and sends it right back through, so that extra time in the batting cage paying off.
He sure did, and he got a ball out over the plate, didn't try to do too much with it, just line it back through the middle of the diamond. Nice hit.
So a good start for the Clippers on a Trevor Crowe single, and here comes Jason Donald. Donald, like Carrasco and Lou Marson, all part of the Cliff Lee trade from the Phillies last year. Donald, however, only had a chance to play 10 games with the Clippers once he came over in that deal because of a sore back. But we talked to him the other night on the radio, and he said he's as healthy now as he's ever been, probably as healthy as he's been since he was drafted. Takes a first pitch strike from Sam LeCure, the starter tonight for the Bats. His second start of the year. On opening night, he pitched Louisville to a win, 5 innings, 2 runs, 7 hits against Toledo. 1 on, nobody out here in the home half of the first from Huntington Park in Columbus. The 0-1. There's one that's roped into left field. Back-to-back singles for the Clippers, and that's what the top of the order is all about.
It sure is, and you know, the fastball there have been up to both hitters, Scott. They've been able to handle it. That one got in a little bit on the label to Jason Donald. They crowded him a little bit, but he got enough of it to line into left field. So you got 2 on with nobody out, and this could be a big inning.
It could be a very big inning with the likes of Carlos Santana coming to the plate. Santana in his first game, or his first 4 games in AAA, let's say. Well, he's only hit 4 home runs. He's only batting .450. He's driven in 8. Santana with 23 total bases.
Monster numbers.
Great power from both sides of the plate. He's fun to watch. First pitch to him is downstairs.
I hate to say it, those were career numbers for me, I think.
It's become apparent that around the International League, these pitchers are going to tiptoe around him as best they can.
Well said, especially with runners at first and second. But hey, tell you what, the guy coming up next, no picnic either.
The reigning IL MVP, Shelly Duncan, waits on deck. So 2 on, nobody out here in the first for the Clippers. Scott Leo and Wayne Hare with you from Huntington Park in the Arena District. There's a swing and a bouncer to first. This is Sutton. They're going to get one. Can they relay it back? They do. 3-6-3 on the double play. The pitcher came over to cover, but then had to hit the deck because Sutton got back in time. So Santana hits into a twin killing.
Yeah, you look at the replay, and, you know, the ball just jumps off this guy's bat. So, I mean, it got to first base in a hurry. So as long as he made a good first throw, it's double play all the way there. But you can just tell he's got a live bat. Ball jumps off it. And they're laughing because he got away with one, I think. Ball was up a little bit, got in on him a little bit, and he just didn't get the ball in the air. That's off the wall in right field probably.
So now LeCure has to deal with Shelley Duncan. Last year with Scranton Wilkes-Barre, Duncan hit .277, drove in 30 runs, or homered 30 times, and drove in 99. You drive in 99 runs in 123 games, you're doing something right.
You're right. And probably one of the few organizations you can't get any recognition or anything for that is the Yankees. So here he is in Columbus trying to get a chance with the Indians.
Looks at a first pitch ball. Duncan back in November decided he was going to opt for free agency instead of another year starting in AAA with the Yankees. He played only 11 games in the bigs last season. The son of Dave Duncan, longtime pitching coach now with the St. Louis Cardinals under Tony La Russa.
Well, we'll see what happens. He may not want to pinch to Duncan here. He's got first base open, 2 outs though, a man at third.
Takes a ball here, and now it's 3-0.
Green light all the way if I'm down there at third base managing, but he's seen 3 pitches. I think he's seen all. That was the fastball. He saw the curveball before that, and I think he let him off with a slider. So if he gets a fat one, which I don't think he'll get, I think he'll let him swing.
Duncan's only 4 for 18 to start the year, but you know the hits are coming.
Didn't like it. He wanted it out over the plate. It was a little bit on the inside part, and he let it go.
Sam LeCure was the opening day starter for Louisville. Mostly just a timing issue. He was stretched out and ready to go on opening day. Some of the others were not. And he walks Duncan here in the first, so the Clippers will have him on the corners.
Yeah, he didn't want to pitch to him there. He didn't want to go down 2-0. If he grooved one, Duncan's liable to put it in the bleachers and left. And then you're down 2-0. He'll take his chances with Hodges.
We have seen some monstrous home runs hit at this ballpark already. In the first 2 nights of the season, temperatures were low. It was chilly, but the wind was blowing out to center, and everybody was getting in on the act.
Exactly right. Wind out of the northwest in this ballpark will take the ball right over to center. In fact, the first home run ever over the batter's eye in center field.
Brian Busher hit one over the batter's eye on Friday night, one of 9 home runs hit in that game. 5 by the Clippers, 4 by Indianapolis. Pedro Alvarez for Indy, the Pittsburgh Pirates' top prospect, had 2 of them. So here's Wes Hodges with a chance to get the Clippers on the board. Hodges right now is piggybacking off of a phenomenal spring training. Swung the bat well in big league camp, got sent down to minor league camp. And when I got out to Goodyear, I started talking with Mike Sarbaugh, and one of the first guys he mentioned was Wes Hodges and the way he was swinging it. Called strike on this one, and it's 2-1.
Pretty good fastball because of his knees on the outer part. Hodges didn't want any part of that one. That looked like grounded to short if he's swinging. So he wants to get a ball he can drive here. Let's see if he gets one up in the zone.
7 for his first 19. That's a .368 average. Taking a ball there, so a hitter's count at 3-1 with Brian Busher waiting on deck. And this is where facing this Clippers lineup can really be a chore. If you dig yourself a hole and you allow a couple guys to reach base, there's not an easy way out of this thing. Let's see what LeCure does on 3-1. And he misses for ball 4, staying away from the righty batter. So it's the second walk of the inning, couple of singles, couple of walks, and once again the bases are loaded for the home team.
And he's going to get a visit from Ted Powers. Ted said before the game, this is a guy who can throw all 4 pitches for a strike. The fastball, the slider, the curve, and the change. He got the fastball up to the first 2 hitter and line drive singles. I think he got away with one to Santana as he bounced into the double play. Now he's walked 2 more. So the bases are loaded. Let's see what Busher can do.
Well, if you think about it, had Santana done something big with that pitch, then LeCure would really be in a jam right now because he wouldn't have anybody out. The Clippers would already have a couple of runs in.
Yeah, he might be headed to the showers early. Or get your pitch count and then you're gone.
Beautiful night at Huntington Park. It's a Rally Towel Tuesday. The first couple thousand fans in the gate getting a Clippers Rally Towel. There was live music down in the right field corner from Jonah Lee White earlier. Every night's a fun night at this ballpark. Here's Brian Busher looking at a first pitch strike. Busher came over as a minor league free agent in the offseason, played 61 games in the bigs with Minnesota last year, hit .235. And he's off to a good start here in the Cleveland Indians organization. Takes a ball on the breaking pitch, and it's 1-1.
Well, the whole week's supposed to be pretty good weather, Scott. So, I mean, tonight's high 60s, tomorrow in the 70s, and of course the day game's supposed to be gorgeous out here, 77 and sunny, so get on out here.
Busher, 7 for his first 14, hits this one towards the shortstop on the move. Cozart across the infield, and they got him. Cozart bounced it to Sutton, and by a half step they retire Busher, and the Clippers, despite loading up the bases, unable to score against LeCure. So after 1 at Huntington Park, we are scoreless here on Sports Time Ohio. 1-0 Louisville as we go to the home half of the second inning. Anderson Hernandez set to lead off for the Clippers in this frame. The Clippers had some opportunities in the first, and this is a team that, at least through the first few days, has really taken advantage of their opportunities, but not so much in the first inning after back-to-back singles. Carlos Santana hit into a double play. Duncan and Hodges walked, but then Brian Busher grounded out, and the Clippers left them loaded. Switch hitting Anderson Hernandez to the plate, and he'll foul the first one away.
Yeah, they've been able to drive him in the first few games, but you hate to let that guy off the hook in that first inning, because watch and see what happens. Now, he may not have his good stuff tonight or his control. That's one thing, but a lot of times you let a pitcher like this off early, he will settle into a rhythm, and he can be a tough customer the rest of the way.
Good breaking pitch, and he gets the swing and miss. LeCure faced the Clippers 4 times last year. And that was a pretty good offensive team the Clippers had, despite the fact that they didn't win very many games. And they were able to have success against Sam LeCure. Now, he's going to get a strikeout here of Hernandez. The Clippers' second baseman goes down looking.
And it's a good pitch. He doesn't really have a beat. A good fastball that he tailed back. In other words, he throws it inside a few inches, and it tails back and catches that inside corner. That's a pitcher's got to get to be effective in this league, or any league for that matter, because you got to get that inside corner.
LeCure 1-2 with a 7.71 ERA for his career against the Clippers. All of that came last year. So he is seeing some familiar faces in this 2010 version of Columbus's lineup. Chris Jimenez takes a first pitch ball. Jimenez started last season 0 for 21, but in his first at bat this year, homered. Now he's looking to follow that up with some more offense. He was joking with me at the beginning of the season. He says, I'm here for one reason. That's to find my swing. In spring training, he showed glimpses of finding just that.
And you know what's funny, Scott, if you're not a home run hitter typically, if you're not in the middle of the order hitting 20 and driving in a lot of runs, that can be the worst thing you want, is to hit a home run your first time up. You go, wow, I can hit home runs. Well, guess what? You're not a home run hitter, and now you can do some things or uppercut the ball, and then you get yourself in trouble.
He's gone looking here, and Sam LeCure has started the second inning with back-to-back punch-outs.
I think maybe, I'll tell you what, I think maybe LeCure is thinking he got away with his life in that first inning, and now he's going to bear down and pitch a good ball game.
He struck out 4 over 5 innings in his first outing.
Number 36, Jose Constanza.
Now he gets a look at the number 9 batter in the lineup, Jose Constanza. And if there was ever any indication that the ball was flying out of Huntington Park at a rapid pace, Jose Constanza has already gone deep in this yard this year. right after, during the radio broadcast, I mentioned that he's a slap hitter. And he showed me his 7th career home run at the time in 2,923 minor league plate appearances.
That was about my ratio, I think.
Snuck it just over the left field wall into the first row of the bleachers. Takes inside here. It's 2-1. Constanza's off to a great start. All kidding aside, he's really provided a spark for this Clippers lineup. 6 for his first 14 from the plate. He's also driven in 5 runs. Bunts this one too hard, though, right back to the pitcher. LeCure has to hurry because of Constanza's great speed, but he got him. So a 1-2-3 inning for LeCure, and it's 1-0 bats here at the end of 2 innings. Carlos Carrasco back to work. First pitch, a ball to Chris Valleca, and we are joined now from the Clippers dugout by pitching coach Charlie Nagy as we bring you Clippers baseball tonight here on Sports Time Ohio. There's a base hit on a grounder back up the middle. Charlie, first of all, thanks for taking some time with us from down in the dugout. Give us your early thoughts on your starter tonight, Carlos Carrasco.
He's throwing the ball well so far. He just left a fastball first pitch out over the plate, and just a hot hitter right now, Dorn, and he hit it pretty far, happened real fast.
We know what Carrasco can do. Obviously, Clippers fans saw him here last year after the trade. He pitched well in spring training. What specifically are you working on with him? What is it that he needs to tweak before he does get to the next level?
Not much. It's just being consistent with all his pitches and just
bunt back towards
PFP right there. Yeah, PFP worked well. We did it a lot in spring training, but just being a little more consistent, moving the ball in and out both sides of the plate. He's got all the pitches, you know, fastball, mid-high 90s, curveball, slider, changeup, and it's just using them in the proper way and just you know, being aggressive and going after the hitters.
Charlie, Wayne here. How are you working with the catcher? You got a great superstar catcher who we know can swing the bat and throw the baseball. How are you working with him and your young pitching staff, kind of how to work hitters in certain situations? Are you meeting with them daily, or you just meet with them after, before the game, and go over last night's game? What's your technique there?
We just talk about it all the time, whether it's in the bullpens or, you know, I'll talk to the starter tomorrow about his outing and stuff like that. And we, you know, go over the scouting report before the game and a game plan on what we want to do to each hitter. Obviously, we got to come up with a better one for Dorn. But other than that, it's been great. Communication's been fine so far, and everything's been going well.
Scott Lewis had a fantastic start last night, and I said earlier that was probably the biggest surprise of the first week, just considering he's trying to work his way back into things. What did Scotty have for breakfast, and did you expect him to go out and strike out 10 and dominate like he did?
Scotty's a competitor, you know. He goes out, he works off his fastball, and got a little away from it in the first inning. Came back the second inning and just started pounding his fastball, and his changeup was very good last night. And
there's a fly ball towards right.
Everything worked off of that for him last night, and you know, he moved the ball in and out really well. It was a great outing, and walked some guys off the plate with his fastball. And this team over here, they're swinging the bats, and once you get them swinging, if you can keep the ball down, you can get some early quick outs, and that's what he was doing last night.
Charlie, Wayne again. Over my years of watching baseball and watching pitchers coach work with the guys, not only technique and situations and working on various pitches, but to me it was the psyche of the pitcher. Where is he in his career? Can you talk to him a little bit harder than the next guy, or you got to treat him with kid gloves? Do you find that a big challenge in dealing with these pitchers' psyches?
Not really. All these guys, they want to learn, they want to get better, so I mean that makes my job easier, and it's just, you know, the day-to-day stuff, and they've been through it. They've got a couple years under their belts, and you know, they want to learn, they want to get better, and they want to get to the next level, and that's what I'm here. You know, just go out and just whatever I can do to help them achieve that, and just to get better. That's what we're here for.
I know that one of the media relations representatives for the Clippers said there are a couple of newspapers from Venezuela that are keeping close tabs on your pitching staff, beginning the season with 4 Venezuelan starters. I would imagine you've never had anything like that before.
No, my Spanish is getting a little bit better. But no, like I said before, they're great kids. They have huge ceilings talent-wise, and you know, I'm just trying to stay out of their way right now and just help them out.
Chris Heisey taking a ball high to make it a 3-1 count. as Carrasco works in this third inning. Early in the season, I know these guys are all on some type of a pitch count, or there's some type of a limit. Does it vary from pitcher to pitcher based upon you know, where they were able to get to in spring?
Our top 4 guys, they were spring training the whole time, so they got a lot of throwing in. They built up a lot of innings down there in spring training, so they're pretty much on the pitch count that you expect, 90 to 100 pitches. Scott Lewis a little behind. He was on an 80 pitch limit last night, and that's what he hit last night. 80 pitches. He was done after 6 innings. So just trying to stress with these guys, you know, be efficient with your pitches, and the longer you stay out there, the better things, the better it'll be, and you know, try and get your innings in.
Now I look around the crowd, Charlie. A lot of people wearing sweatshirts, but not many coats. I see that you've got the coat going tonight, just like, you know, just true to form for a guy that calls San Diego home, right?
Exactly. My blood's kind of thinned out a little bit, but we've had some great weather. Everything's been beautiful, and just enjoying Columbus right now, having a great time.
All right, Charlie. Hey, thanks for taking a few minutes with us. We'll talk to you again down the line.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Charlie. Good luck.
All right, Carrasco walking Heisey to extend the inning here, first and second, with a couple of outs, and Juan Francisco coming to the plate. Interesting matchup here because, Wayne, in the first inning, Carrasco came high fastball, one after another against Francisco, but this time around there are a couple of ducks on the pond, so let's see how he pitches it.
Yeah, see how he works him. He threw the slider or the curveball down and in, not throwing it for a strike, not in the middle of the plate, fastball up and away, and he couldn't catch up to it.
Big swing and a high foul ball foul.
Looks
way
like,
out of here.
Looks like you're going to stay with the steady diet of fastballs up, so he can't catch up. You'll see the fouls the other way, and then maybe when he's looking for it, he'll bend that slider down and in.
Danny Dorn is waiting on deck, so that's more reason to try and get Francisco here, because Dorn has had a big couple of days here at Huntington Park. 3 hits last night and a monster home run already in this one.
Yeah, you don't want to face him with the bases loaded and 2 outs in the third, I'll tell you that.
Here's the 1-1. Got a bouncer. Donald across to Hodges, and Carrasco and the Clippers are out of the inning. 1 hit, 1 walk. The Louisville Bats leave 2 on base. We've played 2.5 innings in Columbus. It's Louisville 1 and the Columbus Clippers nothing. Danny Dorn home run has Louisville in front 1-0 as we move to the bottom of the third. Huntington Park, downtown Columbus, the site. We are on the back half now of this season opening homestand. The Clippers are back at it tomorrow night against Toledo, and then an early game Thursday, 11:35 a.m., the first business day special of the year here at the ballpark. This facility last year saw more fans pass through the gates than any other minor league ballpark in the country. Top of the order, Trevor Crow looks at a first pitch strike.
What a chance for an Ohio baseball fan. If you favor the Reds on the southern half of the state, come on up and catch a look at the Reds prospects. And if you like the Indians, come on down from Cleveland.
LeCure trying to catch the inside corner about knee high, but misses with that one. 2-1. 27 games last year at or above capacity. Averaged 95, 9,600 per game.
Almost 700,000 people.
Just a tremendous first season at this ballpark. Obviously, multiple factors at play. A new ballpark, a great location, and the affiliation with the Cleveland Indians. Crow hit that one on the screws. Trevor Crow's 2 for 2 with a pair of singles. So I mentioned earlier that in the first few days his timing's just been a tad off. A lot of pop-ups. He's really corrected it.
Yeah, he does. He is right on this ball. Watch this. Weight shift back and forward. Head down on the baseball and get the head of the bat out in front of the plate. And I'll tell you what, that's the best news about being a leadoff man, because they did it. You're usually going to get a lot of good fastballs to hit because they don't want to walk you and put ducks on the pond for these guys who can drive the runs in.
Crow knows all about that leadoff spot, and he is 1/3 of the Arizona Wildcat contingent of this Clippers lineup. 3 of the first 4 batters in Mike Sarbaugh's lineup played their college ball at Arizona. Crow the guy at the plate now, Jason Donald, and the cleanup hitter, Shelly Duncan. And when Jordan Brown comes back off the DL, we assume he'll be put here in this Clippers lineup. He's the reigning IL batting champ. You'll have 4 Arizona Wildcats in the lineup.
Wow.
LeCure with the 0-1. Donald hits that one just like Crow into right field. Goes opposite field with his, and it's back-to-back singles in the third for the top 2. That's exactly what they did in the first inning.
And Donald got a ball up in the strike zone he could handle. Look at this. Weight back, hits it the other way to right field. Same thing as the first inning.
Here comes Carlos Santana.
Catcher, Carlos Santana.
Here's one of the great advantages of the Indians AAA club being here in Columbus for both the big club and for the AAA team. Carlos Santana is a household name amongst Indians fans. They know who the top prospect is. They knew all about him before he ever put on a Clippers uniform to start the season, and there were folks here in Columbus at the Meet the Team night, the night before the season started, looking for a Carlos Santana autograph, just wanted to shake this young man's hand. They know all about his history coming over from the Dodgers in the Casey Blake trade. He's been compared an awful lot to Victor Martinez. Victor was his idol as he came up through the ranks. Almost got hit by that pitch.
Yeah, they're going to crowd him with the fastball. That's what they tried to do the first time up. Left it over the plate, but got away with it. And then they'll throw everything else down and away and stay away from him.
2 on base. Nobody out here in the third inning. Scott Leo and Wayne Hare with you from Columbus at Huntington Park. And here's a pop foul into the seats down the third base way.
There's sometimes a hitter like this will see a pitch that is so fat he's got to wait. He's got to wait because he'll jump at it and move his hands and jam himself. That's what happened there and may have happened his first time up.
The fireworks were flying here on opening night. The Clippers scored 17 runs. Santana hit 2 homers, and Indianapolis was the opponent. Their starting pitcher, Kevin Hart, got thrown out of the game in the 4th inning when he threw a ball behind Santana. And that started the jawing between the 2 dugouts. The good news was that things calmed from there.
But the fines were levied, talking to International League President Randy Mobley, who'll be on the mic here in late innings. And he said, yeah, I had to go to work right away.
The 1-2.
Uh-oh.
There's a drive towards center. Josh Anderson will get to it before the warning track and bring it in. Tagging and moving to third is Crow. Runners will be on the corners.
Well, that ball, when it left the bat, looked like there was going to be a little bit of trouble for Louisville, that is, but it settled down there probably about 380 feet away from home plate.
Yeah, he knew it right there. As he started out of the batter's box, he knew he didn't get enough.
He didn't quite get enough of it. Yeah.
First and third for Shelly Duncan. And again, this is the heart of the Clippers order where I wouldn't want to be the opposing pitcher. You have to worry about a switch hitting stud like Santana. Shelly Duncan, the reigning IL MVP. Wes Hodges waits on deck. We'll see if Sam LeCure can Houdini his way out of this inning like he did in the first.
Trying to figure out any way to get a ground ball here, because a ground ball to the infield is probably a double play.
Gets a foul ball on the first delivery to Duncan. Shelly Duncan is actually in his second stint wearing Clippers blue. He played a dozen games with the Clippers in 2006, the final year for the Clippers affiliation with the Yankees. Big cut there. He was out in front and fooled by that pitch.
Well, an 0-2 now. He's just got to put the ball in play. Try to drive that runner in from third.
LeCure sets at the letters. The 0-2. Fastball high.
The classic waste pitch there. See if he wastes another one or tries to make a pitch right here.
1-0 Bats here in the bottom half of the third inning. Second meeting in as many nights for these teams, and then they'll go their separate ways. Missed, but not by much.
He tried to make a pitch right there. You're right. Few inches off the plate inside.
Trevor Crow down at third base. Jason Donald over at first. The 2-2. Hey, got the bouncer. They're going to come home with it. And they've got Crow in the rundown. Corky Miller back to Francisco, and Francisco tags him. So they came home to protect the plate. They didn't want the tying run to score, and they're able to prevent it.
Well, pretty good play over there by the third baseman, Francisco, because he had to go to his right. So, and it wasn't quite hit hard enough to take the chance to get the double play. Made the choice to get the lead runner. Now it's first and second and 2 out.
Well, that's a tough throw on the move because Francisco is charging in, and he's got to make sure he doesn't throw that ball right into Crow's back.
Yep, exactly right. Tough play all the way around. Give him credit. With 2 outs, you don't want to, the runners, you think, well, why didn't they move up to second and third rather than first, second? You don't want to ever make that third out at third base because now the rally's still alive. A base hit will play to run. But if he gets thrown out after the rundown at third, then you're finished. So.
And a hot bat at the plate at that. Wes
Exactly
Hodges
right.
batting .368 so far this year. Looks at a first pitch strike. Corky Miller did a nice job, the Bats catcher, on that play too, Wayne, because he kind of stepped outside the baseline to give Francisco that outside target. And Francisco made the nice throw. And they were able to erase Trevor Crow from the bases.
Yeah, the other thing Corky did there was give up the baseball because he didn't want to get in a foot race with Crow down there. So after one throw, he gave it back to the third baseman. He could run him down.
Sam LeCure with the 1-1 for Hodges. Broken bat, flare into center, down for a hit. Here comes Donald. Here comes the throw from Anderson, and the Clippers have tied the game. RBI single, Wes Hodges. And for Hodges, the pride of Georgia Tech, RBI number 5 in 6 ball games.
I think he hit it on the end of the bat, and that bat broke. Left the handle in his hand. But I'll tell you what, I don't know, one hitter wouldn't trade a bat for a base hit and an RBI, and that's what happened right there.
Third baseman Ryan Busher.
Hodges last year had a shoulder issue. Had a wrist problem from sliding into second on a play. Was trying to get comfortable at third base at the AAA level, and nothing really came together. The stars never aligned for him. Now he's made the transition over to first base. He's swinging the bat better. Brian Busher now with a chance to put the Clippers in front.
Some good base running there by Duncan also. With 2 outs, you want to make them cut the baseball, so just keep running. And that's what he did to third base. So he's at third base now. Hodges did not get to second.
I asked Brian Busher if the home run that he hit the other night that went over the batter's eye and cleared the street, it cleared Nationwide Boulevard, every bit of 450 feet. It was the longest home run we've seen so far at Huntington Park in one full season and a handful of others now. I said, is that the deepest ball you've ever hit? And he almost kind of chuckled. He shook it off. He said, no, not even close. In Rochester at Frontier Field, and if you've ever been there, you know what I'm talking about. Yep. He hit one over the scoreboard, which not only is that a big ballpark, but the scoreboard's probably 50 feet in the air. And he takes ball 4. Busher will draw a walk, and he will load the bases for Anderson Hernandez.
Well, I'll tell you what, LeCure has been walking the tightrope in 2 of the first 3 innings. Boy, one big blow here might give him the knockout punch.
Last inning, facing the bottom third of the order, he cruised. 2 called third strikes, and then he got the tapper back to the mound on the bunt from Constanza. But against the top 2/3 of the lineup, nothing is coming easy for the Louisville righty. Hernandez ripping that one foul back against the net.
Well, Clippers with 5 hits. I mean, he's not really fooling him. You're right. He cruised through the bottom of the order in the second. But the first and third, he has been on the ropes.
Hernandez, 3 for his first 13 on the year. Called out on strikes last inning. Took the breaking ball there. It's 1-1. Hernandez was picked up off of waivers during spring training from the Mets. Last year played 46 games in the bigs with New York after starting the season with the Washington Nationals. Batted .251 in 77 games with Washington. .252 in 46 games with the Mets, and of course, coming from the Washington Nationals organization, like Saul Rivera, who's in the Clippers bullpen, and Austin Kearns, who's in the big leagues, there's that Manny Acta connection. Hernandez hits this one high in the air, but foul. Hernandez and Brian Bixler are sort of in a platoon in the middle infield spots with Jason Donald. Donald is priority number 1 of those 3 as they try to mold him to be a big league utility guy. Hernandez takes down and in. It almost hit him, and the count goes full.
So everybody will get a head start on this pitch. 3-2, 2 out. Well, you mentioned middle infielders. Played with a lot of managers who said you can never have enough middle infielders. And if you need to, you can play some at third one night or possibly first. So valuable commodity.
3-2 with the bases loaded. He walks home a run. Sam LeCure had nowhere to put Hernandez, and he misses low for ball 4. Shelley Duncan trots home, and the Clippers have a 2-1 lead.
Well, that's a tough situation there. You groove one, and you could be down 5-1. And he tried to hit that corner on the inside, about the knees, and it sunk low. So he walks the run in. Nobody warming up in the bullpen, so he's out there by himself, and he's got to get out of it.
Already 4 walks for LeCure.
Yeah, not sharp. I mean, you could tell it in the first inning, getting the fastball up. And I think Ted Power, the pitching coach, and Rick Sweet, the manager of the Louisville Bats, know that their starter doesn't have his stuff.
We have 4 more Clippers broadcasts for you here on Sports Time Ohio live this season. Our next one in just a couple of weeks against the Charlotte Knights, the Chicago White Sox top farm club. In May, Bruce Drennan will be here with his All Bets Are Off program. That'll be a fun day as we head into the Memorial Day weekend against Lehigh Valley. And then the Norfolk Tides and Toledo Mud Hens on down the road as our Sports Time Ohio schedule kicks off tonight. We're glad you're with us, watching on STO as the Clippers battle the Louisville Bats. Alongside Wayne Hare, I am Scott Leo. This is game number 6 of a season-opening 8-game homestand for the hometown heroes. The Clippers are 3-2 on the year to this point. Chris Jimenez now will try to do some damage with the bases loaded. Takes a called strike. Jimenez was called out on strikes last inning after homering in his first at bat. He is now 0 for his last 8 and has a golden opportunity here to turn his luck around.
Well, I'd really like to get a hit here, Scott, because I'll tell you what, you left 3 on in the first, and you certainly don't want to do it again in the third. Again, one more hit could put this guy out of the ballgame. Now we're getting some action in the bullpen. That would what we call the long reliever.
It's already time to get somebody up and moving, according to Ted Power, the pitching coach for Louisville. This is Francisco at third, and they're going to get out of another one. The Clippers do get 2 runs, but for the second time in 3 innings, the Clippers leave the bases loaded. 2 runs off of 3 hits in this one for the home team. We've played 3 at Huntington Park. It's the Clippers 2 and the Bats 1. 2-1 Columbus as the Clippers push across a pair of runs in the 3rd inning. Base hits for Trevor Crowe, Jason Donald, and Wes Hodges in the inning. Hodges drove in a run with his single up the middle, and Anderson Hernandez drew a bases-loaded walk. There's the answer for your Ohio Credit Union trivia question tonight. Tonight's starter, Carlos Carrasco, was the last Clipper to strike out 10 batters in a game prior to Scotty Lewis doing it last night. Carrasco pulled the trick August 11th of last season, shortly after coming to the Cleveland Indians organization in the Cliff Lee trade, and Carrasco is back to work. Here's Danny Dorn, the one guy that the Clippers have not been able to solve in this series. 3 hits last night and a home run in this game. We are pleased to be joined here in the broadcast booth by Clippers team president and general manager Ken Schnocky as we lift the lid on our Sports Time Ohio coverage in this 2010 season. Ken, thanks for taking a few minutes with us.
Great, thanks for having me. Pretty good game thus far.
So far, so good. Clippers able to get a couple of runs to grab the lead. I would think you've been, just like the rest of us, pretty impressed with this lineup and the way they're able to put up some big-time numbers.
They really are. I mean, this is looking to be a fun team to watch. I mean, we're pretty much in every game, both offensively and defensively, and our pitching seems like it's coming around. Carrasco looking fairly strong tonight.
Misses with this pitch, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes to Danny Dorn. Last night, Scott Lewis strikes out 10 batters. Pitches probably better than anybody except for maybe Scott anticipated, coming back off of an injury-plagued season. This guy right here, Dorn, had 3 hits, the only 3 the bats produced, and Carrasco solves him there with a strikeout.
That was definitely his best breaking ball tonight, Scott. That thing really dropped off a table, so maybe we got to give Dorn a steady diet of those sliders down low.
Ken, you and I talked during our radio broadcast on opening night as you opened the gates for season number 1 here at the ballpark. First of all, looking back on the first season, I don't think anybody could have asked for a better opening year in terms of the excitement around the club, with the Indians being the new parent club, and then of course the number of folks that came through the gates to see baseball here.
It really was phenomenal. It just went so darn fast, though.
There's a hot shot foul past the first base bag.
I mean, it seemed like before we started and got into the flow, it was over. But I mean, you know, the arrival of Huntington Park and the affiliation with the Cleveland Indians has just been a fabulous incentive for Columbus Clippers baseball. I mean, it's really lifted our presence in the community.
The 1-1 for Sutton. 2-1. Wayne and I were talking about the advantages when the parent club is just up the road and you have Indians fans obviously all over Central Ohio. When a guy like Carlos Santana opens the season here, Indians fans already know that name. They know what he's about because of the publicity that he's picked up along the way, and that's a tremendous built-in advantage.
It really is, and I mean, we saw the same thing last year with the arrival of Matt Laporta and Michael Brantley. I mean, the fans latched onto them, and now they're both in the Indians lineup on a daily basis. So it's great to see the young development in Columbus and then move up the road to Cleveland, because the fans can stay in tune with that. And you know, one thing I'd always heard from the media here in Columbus, it was hard to make that association when players left for either New York or then Washington. So, you know, all of our columnists, all of our beat reporters, much easier for them to stay in tune. They're friends with most of the Cleveland media. So we've got a great thing going back and forth that we surely look to build upon.
Payoff pitch for Sutton is grounded towards second base, and that's where Anderson Hernandez will scoop it up. 2 down here in the 4th. The shortstop, Zach Kozart, coming up.
You know, you really have to be impressed by most of our pitching that you've seen when you stop and realize that they've spent 6 weeks out in Goodyear, Arizona in perfect weather, coming here and adapting to the elements, as all pitchers have to do. But I mean, our pitchers have thrown some very good games. As you talked about, Scott Lewis was just fabulous yesterday.
Carrasco got the win on opening night. Now the offense scored him 17 runs in the opener. He didn't need nearly that many.
No, and sometimes we like to bank those runs for the next few days. I mean, you know, we went through those first 4 games scoring like 42 runs and splitting that series 2-2, but you know, you really like the feel of this team. I'm really impressed with Mike Sarbaugh, our manager, and our new staff. I think they're doing a wonderful job. You know, very glad that John Nunley and Scott Radinsky have had a chance to go join the Indians. And you kind of like to see this flow going both on the field and off the field.
We saw some youngsters waving their Clippers rally towels a moment ago on a rally towel Tuesday night here at the Yard. I'm sure the question that you got a lot over the offseason was, after such a great first year at the ballpark, what do you do for an encore? And here's a fly ball hit towards left field for Chris Jimenez that will retire the side. If you can come back in the bottom of the fourth and talk with us, I want to get some thoughts from you on some of the tweaks that were made at Huntington Park over the offseason and some of the neat promotions that you've got coming up this year. We'll do that when we return. We've played 3.5 here in Columbus, 2-1 Clippers. We move to the bottom half of the fourth inning. 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Clippers. 1-2-0 for the Cincinnati Reds AAA club as we look at the Columbia Gas line score. We are visiting with Clippers team president and general manager Ken Schnocky as we continue on here in this fourth inning. Year number 2 here at the downtown ballpark. Jose Constanza will lead off for the home team here. It'll be Constanza, Crow, and Donald. Sam LeCure has allowed 2 runs thus far. The Clippers have left the bases loaded on 2 occasions. And Constanza looks at a first pitch strike. All right, I gave you a moment to think about it during the break. I'm sure it's been one of the questions that you've received a lot of over the offseason. Tweaks for year number 2, ways to improve the ballpark and improve the fan experience, even after such a great first year.
Yeah, I mean, you can never sit on your laurels. You've always got to look ahead and be proactive. Much of what we did this year really wasn't out in front for the fans to see. There were little nuances we corrected behind the scenes that make it a little easier for operation to flow smoothly. So while the fans don't necessarily see that, they actually will feel and touch it, because some of our food and beverage services and some of the things we do will be much more effective than they were last season.
Don't forget, you can follow the Clippers on Facebook and Twitter. Clippers online at clippersbaseball.com as Constanza grounds out to second base.
Now, many of the fans didn't see it, but one of the things interesting to me, as that last inning ended and Carlos Carrasco came off the field, first person that met him at the top of the stairs was Charlie Nagy. A little discussion about the hitters, maybe a little something about one of the pitch sequences or something he did. I mean, that's part of the development process that we're so proud of, that we know is going to happen here as we help the Indians down the road.
Exactly what Charlie said in between, or during the second inning, I believe, or third inning, we had him on. He was talking about the development of these young pitchers and also working with his young catcher and on working with the pitchers. So there he is, right on top of that stuff.
Trevor Crow already has a couple of base knocks, singles in the first and the third, raising his batting average to .333.
Nothing like a little speed at the top of your order to kind of set the table. I mean, yesterday in the game, back-to-back infield hits by Trevor Crow and Jason Donald got us underway. And then a little later that inning, Wes Hodges had another big 2-strike, 2-out hit, similar to what he did an inning or so ago. So that's the kind of baseball you like to see as these kids are learning and developing both their ability to play the game and their ability to expect to win a game.
Yeah, we mentioned with the 3, 4, and 5 hitters we have in the lineup now, these guys are going to see a lot of good pitches. And they both saw fastballs up and out over the plate that they could handle, and they jumped on them, both 2 for 2 with solid base hits.
With Jose Constanza batting ninth and Crow and Donald at the top, that's some serious speed and athletic ability. Constanza last year set the Akron franchise record for stolen bases. He swiped 49 of them.
Yeah, that's the old baseball axiom that you're only the nine-hole hitter the first time through the lineup. He kind of becomes a secondary leadoff hitter from that point on, and you're right. Him leading off an inning followed by Crow and Donald give you 3 burners at the top to set the stages for what becomes hitters 3, 4, and 5 after that.
Here's Jason Donald, 2 for 2 already. We're talking with Ken Schnocky, team president and general manager with the Clippers. Every year, I know the front office staff goes to work to find new creative promotions, but you always have the traditional ones, such as what we saw here last night, the first Dime a Dog night of the year.
Yeah, I mean, that goes back, geez, 30 years now, Wayne. Back to when you were playing. Back to when you were that long ago?
Yeah. In fact, I'd steal a dozen of those hot dogs.
It's such a cult phenomena that we've trademarked Dime a Dog. And that's almost as famous in Columbus as the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
On the 0-2, Donald takes a pitch in the dirt. They were chomping down on some dogs here last night.
A lot of college kids here getting their parents' dollar to last a little longer for meal money this week. That was a great sight to see.
Getting their money's worth.
And then tomorrow night, as we head towards the back part of this homestand, 50-cent wing night on tap. So plenty of good food specials all the time out here.
Yeah, food specials, you know, when you have a great food and beverage concessionaire like we have in Sodexo, you can have a lot of fun with that.
Ground ball to second base, and this is going to take care of the Clippers in the 4th inning. Ken, want to thank you for stopping by tonight, and I know we'll be chatting again as the season moves along.
Okay, you guys hold on to this lead now.
I
I'm
can do
counting
it.
on you.
It's up to Wayne.
I'm the closer.
We go to the 5th here at Huntington Park. 2-1 Clippers. 5th inning at Huntington Park. It's 2-1 Clippers. Alongside former Clipper Wayne Hare. I'm Scott Leo. We are glad you're with us tonight from downtown Columbus. They've got the rally towels out. It is a Tuesday night at the ballpark.
And we got some of that good food that Ken talked about. Man, oh man.
We talked him into rounding us up some good food here in the broadcast booth. Carlos Carrasco back to work. I've got Carlos at 43 pitches, 28 strikes. He's thrown 25 pitches fewer than his counterpart Sam LeCure thus far. LeCure has had to dodge a couple of potential big innings in the 1st and 3rd. The Clippers left the bases loaded. They got 2 runs out of that, but Wayne could have been a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely. He dodged some big bullets there.
Wilkin
Bases loaded twice. He's only given up 2 runs.
Wilkin Castillo's the man at the plate here. It's 7, 8, and 9 for the bats. Castillo reached on a walk back in the 2nd. Good swing on this ball and ropes it into right field. A leadoff knock for the Louisville left fielder.
And that's a slider that didn't slide, just a spinner up over the plate, and the lefty handled it with ease. You'll see this pitch hang out there, just like he hit it off a tee, wasn't it?
Second baseman, Chris Vallejo.
It is the 3rd hit of the game allowed by Carrasco. Here comes Chris Vallejo playing second base tonight. First pitch comes his way, and he tries to lay down a bunt and rolls it foul. Now, Wayne, let me ask you this as Vallejo tries to get down a sacrifice bunt. 20, 30 years ago, in general, were there better bunters in baseball, or is that kind of one of those wives' tales where we say, boy, it's a lost art?
Well, I think certain players on every team have got to be able to bunt, whether they're the second man in the order, you know, the leadoff man gets on, you need 1 run, and then maybe the lighter hitters at the bottom of the order, they should really know how to bunt. Pitchers, you know, we don't see them hit. Obviously, they have to. But overall, I would say yes, because I mean, obviously the speed burners will bunt for a base hit, so they're going to usually know how to bunt and get on base that way. But I'll say overall, yes, it was we taught a lot more how to bunt the baseball.
Santana comes up throwing, trying to get the lead runner, but safe out at second base is Castillo. So Vallejo gets the bunt down. It was no more than 2 feet right out in front of the plate. Santana scooped it and made the throw, but unable to erase the base runner. Here, we'll get another look at it.
He deadens the ball. That was the right play. You bunt the ball toward the last couple inches of the bat, but didn't get it out far enough. And the throw kind of pulled the infielder off the bag, and that's why he was safe.
So now the bats have him at first and second with nobody out, and here comes veteran catcher Corky Miller.
Yeah, think about bunts, though, even though people say, oh, that was a bunt, easy to make a play. Well, no, you still got to pick the ball up and make an accurate throw, and that's the choice of the catcher. It made him decide, take the easy out at first or risk the longer throw to second, and it paid off for the bats.
Santana maybe got a little greedy there, trying to get the lead runner instead of taking the easy play.
Exactly. Take the sure out.
Showing bunt was Miller, pulls it back.
I always thought this was a tough bunt if they're going to move the 2 runners up, especially for a right-handed hitter, because theoretically you want to bunt the ball to third, make him field the ball, so he's got to leave the base. If he bunts it hard to the pitcher or the first baseman, they might get a play at third base. He did it nicely.
Making the throw across is Busher. That's a bunt from a veteran right there, a guy that's been around a long time, Corky Miller.
Textbook right there, textbook. Because you can't let the ball see if it goes foul. It may have, but you can't take that chance and load the bases. Watch this. We got a nice ball up to bunt it, and he drove it down to third base. That's all you have to do, make that guy leave third base. Easier said than done, though.
Corky Miller sporting that goatee. I wondered if he was following the lead of Bats manager Rick Sweet or vice versa. Rick Sweet has got the big-time mustache going this year.
He's always had it. Now, I didn't say it down there when we talked to him before the game, but he actually played about 30 pounds heavier, I think. Got to play at home.
Hodges is going to come home with it, and they've got the runner trapped.
Running back.
Wilkin Castillo will be tagged out. Chris Valleca advanced on to third base, and that left Castillo with nowhere to go.
You know, Scott, so far we've talked about the Clippers' offense and hitting the ball in the ballpark. I've been impressed with their defense. I mean, they've made every play. You could second guess the throw to second on the first sack bunt, but here's a play where instead of throwing the ball around, he sees there's two runners at third base. No doubt, run them back, get the sure out.
So Castillo is gone, and with two down, the Bats have him at second and third for the top of the order. Here comes Josh Anderson. Or check that, Chris Heisey. And Heisey last year got up to the AAA level, batted .278, drove in 37 runs. He's one the Reds are keeping an eye on. Only 25 years of age, from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Puts good swings on the ball and does it right there, but he one-hops it to the shortstop, Donald. And Carlos Carrasco gets out of it. Nicely done by the right-hander, and the defensive support was good. Halfway home from here in Columbus, middle of the fifth, it remains 2-1 Clippers. 2-1 Clippers as we go to the bottom half of the fifth. Scott Leo and Wayne here with you tonight. We're glad you're tuned in on Sports Time Ohio. Our first of 5 live broadcasts this year when the Big League Club has the day off. So we are glad to be partnering up with Sports Time Ohio again to bring you Clippers baseball. Carlos Santana will lead off for Columbus here in the 5th inning against Sam LeCure. Santana is 0 for 2 tonight, hit into a double play in the first. In the third, he flew out to center field. Batting left-handed again against the righty pitcher LeCure, but there is activity in the Louisville bullpen. First pitch, a ball to Santana. I think it's safe to say that if the Indians were in a pennant race today, Carlos Santana would be up there because they would need his bat in the lineup because he's that impressive. But here in AAA, he's trying to improve his English, trying to improve his game calling ability. He is calling every pitch from behind the plate. Nothing is coming from the dugout. They want him to learn by experience when it comes to handling pitchers and calling a game.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, because if they start, looking over the dugout, what do you want me to call or whatever. Now, having said that, he's got to take it upon himself to learn the hitters, learn his own pitching staff, and learn situations.
Takes inside here, and he will draw a walk. He has great strike zone awareness. That's something we saw in the first couple of days of the season. He does not swing at very many bad pitches. He will draw his share of walks. That's his 3rd of the season. Everything about Carlos Santana has been very, very impressive, including his work ethic, which is something the fans don't see. He's one of the first guys in the batting cage on game day, working with Lee May Jr., the Clippers hitting coach. He had 2 home runs on opening night, Wayne. I came to the ballpark early the next day. He was the first guy in the batting cage.
Boy, there's nothing better than that. You're right. He's working on it, and you mentioned that strike zone awareness for a young player is so key, because then that'll keep you out of slumps, because you don't chase any bad balls and put yourself either you're too aggressive or not aggressive enough and chasing bad pitches. That'll keep you out of big slumps.
Shelley Duncan getting his 3rd plate appearance. He walked in the first, grounded into a fielder's choice, and scored in the 3rd. Santana's off. Head first slide, he's in there. The ball kicks away from the second baseman. Chris Valleca was covering and trying to get the tag down, and Carlos Santana showing that even a catcher can steal a base every now and again.
Absolutely. I want to say a young catcher, because after 10 years of crouching up and down every pitch, I don't know if he'll be running like that. So it's great to see those young legs take off.
He only had 2 stolen bases last year. He was 2 for 4. But I made the comment on the radio broadcast a couple of nights ago that he doesn't really run like a catcher because he's aggressive on the bases and his speed is adequate.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know. You can hit and run with him. You can start him there if the pitcher's not paying attention. You can give him the green light. And whether he's running on his own there or Duncan missed a hit and run. You usually don't hit and run with your cleanup hitter, so he had to be going on his own or they weren't paying attention to him.
You would think, yeah. Here's a called third strike. Duncan's down looking.
And that's the case there, Scott, where Duncan's looking off speed or breaking ball, and the fastball just surprised him. It wasn't that it was overpowering.
Here comes Rick Sweet out to the mound.
But just a fastball on the knees.
Yep, we're going to get a call to the bullpen here in the 5th inning. Sam LeCure really worked his way out a couple of jams early where things really could have snowballed on him. The Clippers left the bases loaded in the 1st and again in the 3rd. And after about 70 pitches, his night will be done. So with Wes Hodges coming to the plate and the Clippers leading 2-1, we will have a call to the bullpen here at Huntington Park.
Well, LeClure had, well, you could say 9 lives, but really he had 4 or 5 lives there in the early going. And Rick Sweet knows that he got away with not his best effort and is still in the ballgame. So you got to admire the fact that Sweet said, you know what, this guy's lived on the edge too long. I'm going to the bullpen here because this could unravel and I want to stay in the game.
Chad Reinke is going to be the new pitcher, the 28-year-old from Defiance, Ohio. Here's a look at the scoring to this point. That's the Danny Dorn solo bomb in the 2nd inning.
In the net.
Yeah, it actually was caught by the netting. You're right. On top of the hamburger balcony, the home run terrace. And then Wes Hodges with a broken bat base hit to score Jason Donald in the 3rd to tie the game at 1. And then the 2nd run of the inning came on ball 4 to Anderson Hernandez. That's the easiest RBI in the book, a bases loaded walk.
I love that when it happens.
So the Clippers with a 2-1 lead. Clippers mascot Crash taking a moment to sit down with a young fan, and it looks like Crash may be signing a few rally towels here at the ballpark. I tell people this all the time. If you have young kids, get them out to a minor league baseball game because it's so much more than baseball. For as little as $6 or tonight, $5 if you were a friend of the Clippers on Facebook, you could get a ticket in here, let the kids watch some baseball, see the mascots, maybe get an autograph or 2. Great experience.
And especially at this ballpark. You've got the left field bleachers and the picnic area. When it warms up, you'll have the fountain out there. You've got all the mascots, all the concessions. I mean, the kids have a ball here.
Wes Hodges stands in and takes the first pitch for a ball from Reinke. Chad Reinke's 3rd appearance of the year already, 4 innings in the books. He has not allowed a run. He's allowed just 2 hits in 4 innings. Hodges fouls this one away.
And you'd love that insurance run, wouldn't you, Scott? Base hit here. Give you a little extra padding here as you go to the later innings.
And this ball club has been very good at doing just that. They don't usually just get 1 or 2. They come in bunches. Last night they scored 5 runs in the 6th inning. Took a 5-1 lead and held on to win 5-3 to get Scott Lewis the W. There's a line drive at first, and they've got Santana doubled off, and that will end the inning. Soft line drive to Drew Sutton, who made 1 step to his right, gloved it, and they had Santana hung out to dry. So the Clippers get a base runner on the leadoff walk to Santana, but they can do nothing with it. And we have played 5 innings here at Huntington. Juan Francisco will lead off for the bats. Francisco, Dorn, and Sutton, 3, 4, and 5 due up for Louisville. And Carrasco's first pitch to him is taken for a ball. Let's check in down in the Clippers dugout with the skipper. Mike Sarbaugh joins us from the first base dugout with his team leading 2-1. Here's a ground ball to second, and Carrasco will have his first out of his 6th inning of work. Mike, first of all, thanks for taking a few minutes with us. So far, so good. You were able to push across a couple of runs in the third inning, but the way it was mapping out, you could have had a lot more.
Yeah, you know, when we got the bases loaded there, well, first and second in the first, and then bases loaded, and didn't get anything on the board. But, hey, we battled back and got 2, so that was good.
It's interesting that in the 3 wins for this team prior to tonight, you've trailed at some point, even by just 1 run. This team has had to come from behind, and this offense has provided enough offense.
Yeah, that's one thing I've been real happy with, the way we have battled back. Like you said, being down in games, guys keep working hard, and that's all you can ask.
Yeah, Mike Wayne here, having a chance to meet you. Look forward to doing that. But, you know, you talk about the offense. I'm kind of impressed with the defensive play. I haven't seen anybody drop a ball or throw one away, and the rundown seemed to be working pretty well. So do you like your club defensively?
Yeah, especially with Santana, with the arm he has behind the plate, like you saw early in the game. And then Wes Hodges moved over to first, made a nice play there for us. And then having Brian Busher and Donald and then Anderson Hernandez is a solid infield. So, you know, really happy with the play so far.
All right, we know you've got to get back to it, but thanks for taking a few minutes with us. Best of luck for the rest of this one.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you,
All right,
Thank
Mike
you.
Sarbaugh, the Clippers manager, down in the dugout. 2-1, Columbus in front. And there's ball 4, so Carrasco will issue a walk to Danny Dorn. He has been a thorn in the Clippers' side. Yesterday, the only 3 hits for the Bats came from Dorn. He's got a home run. Now he's got a walk. He's aboard with 1 down, and here comes Drew Sutton, the first baseman. Sutton's 0 for 2.
And probably a great move because of a 2-1 game in that short right field porch. You know, Dorn's a guy who could tie it up with 1 swing.
Foul ball down the third base side and into the seats. The wind is blowing out towards right field tonight. Carrasco gets the sign from Santana. The 0-1. Came back with a breaking ball, buried it in the dirt.
Didn't get a chance to ask Mike. Don't want to get ahead of myself, but I didn't know if he had his bullpen lined up right and left. We wanted to get somebody some work. Or to me, he looks pretty serious. Wants to get every win he can. So,
and the resume bears that out. That ball's just foul on a hopper over to Wes Hodges. I think the interesting thing about Mike Sarbaugh's track record is that at every level he's managed, he's found a way to win. And in the minor leagues, where winning takes a back seat oftentimes to player development, he has found a way to finish above 500, get his teams in the playoffs, and even win a couple of championships. Started his managerial career in 2004 with Mahoning Valley. 1 season there, 1 season at Lake County. Then of the South Atlantic League, they're now in the Midwest League. 06 and 07 with Kinston in the Carolina League, couple of first place finishes there. And the last 2 seasons with Akron. Last year, 89 and 53 with the Arrows. They steamrolled to an Eastern League title. Runner at first base. 1 down here in the top of the 6th inning.
see if Rick Sweet starts him here to stay on that double play. Going.
Ground ball towards the middle. They will get the out at second. And then the throw on for the double play. Close play with the runner moving, but Jason Donald gets the foot down just before Danny Dorn could slide in. A 6-3 twin killing, and the Clippers will maintain the 1-run lead. Middle of the 6th at Huntington Park in Columbus, 2-1 Clippers.
I'll have the Chilean sea bass with saffron risotto.
Hey, you know what? I'd like a wider seat.
Excuse me. I'd like to watch something else now. Maybe a comedy.
It's easy to get used to the treatment you get with Continental's Business First. Just don't expect it everywhere.
Hey, mister, you thirsty?
Yeah. I'll have the 99 Bordeaux.
Huh?
Continental Airlines. Work hard, fly right.
2-1 Clippers as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Little Sweet Caroline here at Huntington Park, and the fans are singing right along. Here's Brian Busher to begin the inning. Busher, Hernandez, and Jimenez coming up. First pitch in there for a strike from Chad Rinke. He came on to replace the starter Sam LeCure. LeCure 4 1/3 tonight. 2 runs earned, 5 hits. Struck out 3, walked 5, and Busher hits one to the gap in right center field. Extra bases for the Clippers' third baseman. Mark it down as a leadoff double. Not a bad way to start the inning.
Boy, he jumped on that ball, drove it in the right center field gap as you stay. Stand-up double for Busher. Look at that weight shift. How he clears that hip. Drives those, keeps those hands back, and drives the ball to right field toward the 365 mark. Perfectly played. Now you got to get him over and get him in.
Brian Busher is a player that you love to have in your organization at the AAA level to begin the season, because he's had success at this level before. He serves as sort of an insurance policy for the big club. Hernandez showed bunt, pulled it back, and Busher retreats out at second base.
Yeah, this next run is so important. They may go to the bunt, because the other option, let him swing away, but make sure you pull the ball on the ground to the right side, and that gets him over. The other thing, when you pull it, you might drive one through the infield, get a base hit.
Hernandez picked up an RBI on the bases loaded walk in the 3rd, and he laces this one foul towards the concourse down towards the left field corner, third base side, we'll say.
See, a lot of managers will, the first pitch is the ball, they'll let him swing. Now they'll go back to the bunt. If he gets ahead in the count, a ball he can pull, he wasn't able to do that. He's going to let him swing again. Now the bunt's out of play.
Six hits in this game for Mike Sarbaugh's Clippers. 2 of them from leadoff man Trevor Crow, and 2 for the 2-hitter Jason Donald. Wes Hodges and Brian Busher each have 1. Busher's out at second base as Hernandez rips one foul again down that third base side. He is peppering section 21 with some souvenirs.
Yeah, if you want a baseball, move down that left field side in a hurry.
One of the neat things about this ballpark, Wayne, there's so much room to move around, to stand and watch a game with a tray in front of you where you can set your drink and nachos down. And we see a lot of that here. People kind of taking in a couple innings in left field. Then you see them down behind home plate. Then they're down in the home run terrace in the right field corner, and they just kind of bounce around, enjoying the atmosphere, watching the baseball game.
It's so fan friendly. You're right. They got the rails everywhere. You can watch anything from left field, right field, behind home plate, and it's a great atmosphere.
The 2-2. That one might get down in the gap. It will. Busher on to third. He will get the stop sign from Sarbaugh, and runners will be on the corners with nobody out. Good at bat from Anderson Hernandez. Fouled a few off, and then found one he could lift into left center field.
Exactly right. He got the job done. He got him over. If he would have drove him in with that base hit, that's a bonus, but that's all you want to do. Get that man to third base with less than 2 outs.
Here comes Chris Jimenez. And now would be a perfect time for Jimenez to turn things back in the right direction offensively. He's 0 for 2 tonight.
Well, the bats are going to play it in. Although it looks like second and short are cheating a little bit to turn the double play.
Here's the pitch. Downstairs, ball 1. Talking with Bruce Drennan today on the All Bets Are Off program, he mentioned Chris Jimenez. He said, and I'm paraphrasing obviously, but something to the effect of, here's a guy you really root for because he's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. And I know as a player, Wayne, you can speak from experience, those smiling faces in the clubhouse are always welcome, and from a broadcaster standpoint, you root for those guys because those are the guys you go to talk to when everybody else is having a bad day.
Exactly right. Yep, they roll with the punches and can handle that interview in tough situation.
Good perspective, Chris Jimenez. Here's a pop-up towards shallow right. The second baseman, Valleca, is going to make the catch. So Jimenez is put down here, and with one away, Jose Constanza will bat.
Yeah, he wants that one back because all you want to do there is get a ball you can handle and drive, reach the outfielder with a fly ball. It's a run, but he couldn't get at it. It was a little bit up and in on him, and he got jammed and popped it to second base.
Roosters wings up on the roof of the left field building.
I like that touch too, where they put the distances on the building.
Yeah, that's new this year.
480 feet. It almost looks farther than that to me. I don't know why, but it looks like if you hit a ball up there, it would be farther than that. Or the ball would travel farther than that anyway.
It would travel farther than that for sure.
That's the distance.
It would end up somewhere across Neal Avenue, which is on the opposite side of that building.
Heading toward the Nationwide Arena.
The ball that Brian Busher hit the other night was something to behold, though. Got over the center field batter's eye, went across the street. The last we saw of it on a replay, there were some fans chasing it. There's a grounder to second. Bad news for the Clippers. 4-6-3 double play. Jose Constanza doesn't hit into many double plays because he's so spectacular down the baseline. But he hit that ball too hard to be able to leg it out, and the Clippers are turned away in the 6th inning.
If new tires, you're debating on this song beat, concentrating, just call Conrad's, start the saving. Price plus everything you crave is here and waiting.
It's BOGO time again at Conrad's.
Buy one tire, get one at half price. Get BOGO savings on a huge selection of all-season performance and light truck tires. Plus, 45 minutes or less installation on most cars. Get the details at econrads.com for price plus everything you want.
Carlos Carrasco back to work for Columbus as we move to the 7th inning. 2-1 Clippers, and International League President Randy Mobley does join us here in the broadcast booth. And Randy, thanks for taking a few minutes with us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Our first Sports Time Ohio broadcast of the year, the first of 5 when the big league club has the day off, and a chance for folks that haven't been out here this year to see this 2010 Clippers team. Here's a shot to left field. That's going to be a leadoff single for Zach Kozar. So it's his first hit of the game. Took a wide turn, has to hurry back, and he just does get back in under the tag of Hodges. Took a wide turn and then panicked a bit as he tried to get back, and he just does. Randy, as we open up this 2010 season, a lot of exciting things going on around the league. Well, let's start with this. It happens every other year. It'll happen this year. The International League will, of course, host the All-Star Game in July.
We will. We'll be over in Allentown, Pennsylvania come July, and it will be the 23rd annual All-Star Game. It's hard to believe that now, but we're very excited about going into what is still a very new ballpark over there, and they're virtually sold out at this point in time.
Runner going, and Kozart will have a stolen base. Almost overslid the bag. So a steal for the leadoff man as he moves into scoring position, representing the game-tying run. Lehigh Valley's ballpark is new. Huntington Park here is new. The new team in Gwinnett in season number 2 with, of course, new digs. You and I were talking about this just before the season started. It seems like, I don't know what the time frame is, but over the last so many years, minor league baseball as a whole has gone this way, and especially in the International League. New facilities, tremendous places for these guys to play.
Well, we're very, very fortunate, and there's no one any better that can attest to that than your partner Wayne Hare from his days in this league. But if we think back, 1988, Buffalo's new ballpark was built, and if we exclude the total renovation that was done in McCoy Stadium in Pawtucket, the Buffalo ballpark is now the oldest ballpark in the International League, built in 1988.
Hard to believe.
It really is, and it's still in fantastic shape. So we're very, very fortunate to have the facilities that we do. We've got a couple that we'd like to make some changes to, maybe new ballparks, maybe renovations down in Charlotte, and also over in Scranton. But we're in pretty good shape. The work's not done, but we're in pretty good shape.
Wilkin Castillo trying to tie this ball game with a base hit. Instead, he'll reach on a walk, and the first 2 have reached in the Louisville 7th inning. So Castillo down to first base, and here comes Chris Valleca.
You mentioned some of those old ballparks, Randy, and you and I go back to the Lucas County. It used to be, I think it was a racetrack at one time.
Absolutely, the rec center.
The rec center.
Yep.
And, of course, you mentioned there was Charleston.
Yep.
Was in the league then. Charleston, West Virginia, old Watt Paul Park.
Absolutely, with the old coal cars going by on the train track.
The train track coming right by. And boy, oh boy, it's just incredible. Because I've been to the Rochester, been to the Toledo, been to the Pawtucket renovation. I haven't been to the Norfolk ballpark, I don't believe. And then Richmond was the Diamond, and they moved that.
We moved that one down to Gwinnett. That's absolutely right. So they're in a brand spanking new facility down there.
So, Wayne, what you're saying is these current players have it easy.
Oh, man. When I came here to Columbus, and I was on the Pawtucket Club at 77, when that was the Taj Mahal, the AstroTurf, the skyboxes. I mean, that was like playing special place.
Okay, it's thrown away by Carrasco on a bunt back to the mound, and this is going to tie the game. The ball rolls up the left field corner, and the Bats are going to score 2 to take the lead. Cozart and Castillo will both score. Carrasco trying to go to third base with that bunted ball, and he threw it wide of Busher. So the Bats will take a 3-2 lead in the 7th inning, an error charge to the pitcher.
Well, that's a tough one. He was closer. He really threw a fastball to third base. I was trying to see if the throw was wide. A little bit up toward the runner.
So Corky Miller will be the batter, but first a visit to the mound. Charlie Nagy out to talk to Carrasco.
I hope I didn't jinx us. I was commenting how good defense. You know, we talk about all the home runs and runs scored, but I thought we were playing great defense, catching and throwing to the right base and the rundowns. And there was one we didn't execute.
First error of the night. International League President Randy Mobley is with us here in the 7th inning.
Wayne, we talk about the new ballparks. We don't want to start talking about the upgrades in hotels either, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
back compared to what those were in your day.
Yeah, and the meal money too.
There you go.
Here's Miller, yet to record an official at bat. Couple of sacrifices. He's going to try another one. Here's a bunt down the third base side, and coming in to get it is Busher, and he'll throw him out. Up to third base goes Valleca. 1 away.
Boy, Corky Miller's just one of those guys that gets it done, isn't
Unbelievable,
he?
isn't he? Yeah.
Why can't everybody bunt like that?
Exactly. We were talking about how the bunt's kind of gone away from the game, and I told Scott, I said, yeah, I think 20, 30 years ago, you worked on it. You came out early, you worked on it. And, you know, maybe that doesn't happen anymore, but we said Miller's had 2 beautiful bunts to third baseman, making him field the ball.
Absolutely.
Randy, I know you're awfully proud of all the new facilities around the International League. Based upon geography, though, this is the one you get to see the most with the league offices in suburban Columbus. They're in Dublin.
You're absolutely right, and how lucky am I to get to do that? And having the team here in town allows me to come in and see the visiting field managers and umpiring crews as they come through.
Here's a hard ground ball with the infield in, and backhanding it is Hodges. Nice play there by West to take care of Anderson. So Josh Anderson is the second out of the inning. Chris Heisey is coming up.
So I do a little bit of traveling during the season, but that keeps it down to a minimum by being able to see those folks as they come through town.
So over the season, generally, how many games do you see, and how many in Columbus for the visiting team? About?
I'll see about 30 games here in this ballpark, and I'll see probably another 20, 25 maybe out on the road and throughout the league.
So at least one visit to all the other.
Roughly so, yes.
Bunt attempt here by Heisey, fouled back.
I was actually over in Scranton for opening day last week, and I was sitting in the press box there watching on my phone as it almost looked like a slot machine or something, the way the numbers kept rolling on the scoreboard on my phone. I didn't know what you guys were going through over here.
It was something else. First 2 nights, all kinds of offense. Clippers scored 12 runs the second night and lost. This one's fouled back onto the roof.
Yeah, you figure if you score 29 in 2 games, you're going to be better than 500 in most cases, right?
Boy. And I understand you've been busy. Had to levy a fine or 2, or is that not to be talked about?
No, that's all right. That's
here's a foul back by Heisey. We'll try it again at 0-2.
You know, in that regard, we're in midseason form. Not that we necessarily want to be in midseason form here in the first week, but we've come out of the chute with a few situations, and one of them that actually occurred here on opening night with the Indianapolis pitcher throwing behind the Columbus hitter. We had to address that and have a little chat about that, but the other situations have been pretty routine so far.
So if you're not at the game and see it yourself, what do you look at? Umpire reports or manager reports? Or
we do. I'll get a written report from the umpires. If it's a significant situation, I'll get a phone call after the game that night. And then I'll have a written report when I get in the office early the next morning. Now we're fortunate to have many of the games televised, so we do have the ability to go take a look at tape on many of these things.
Heisey takes up and in on a fastball at 91 miles an hour from Carrasco. He hasn't lost much velocity tonight. Last year, obviously the Clippers led all of minor league baseball in attendance, and you had some other parks that did very well. With the downturn in the economy, all in all, were you pleased with the year you had?
Very much so.
Pitch in the dirt here is going to make it a full count to Heisey with a runner down at third base and 2 down here in the 7th.
Yeah, we had just a great year, considering all things and considering what most of the other businesses throughout the country were going to. We can't complain a bit. One of the things we talked about at the winter meetings this year was, clubs came up with different promotions, different things to get through last year, to add last year. You and I as consumers, we're all looking for added value these days. We want more for our money.
Here's ball 4, so Carrasco got ahead 0-2. But when the dust settles, Heisey reaches on a free pass, and the inning will continue for Juan Francisco.
And we're no different in the baseball world. The clubs were trying to provide added value to the teams with different meal packages, with tickets, different things.
We've got a visit from Mike Sarbaugh here. We're going to get a call to the bullpen, so that's going to do it for Carlos Carrasco, right at 100 pitches for the night. So that's where they're going to pull the plug on the right-hander with 2 on base and 2 out, and the Clippers down by a 3-2 count. We'll keep it right here. We're visiting with International League President Randy Mobley as we broadcast tonight live on Sports Time Ohio.
But as I was talking about these added value things that our clubs were doing, we talked at the winter meetings about how those, what I'll call spur-of-the-moment decisions for last year, certainly didn't help our clubs, or excuse me, didn't hurt our clubs in being able to deal with the downturn in the economy. But when you really cut to the chase, it's the equity that our clubs have banked over the last 15, 20 years within their community, where the community really knows what they stand for. They know when they go out to the ballpark, they're going to find a safe, friendly, affordable atmosphere. That's what really has allowed us to get through this first couple years, and for however long it lasts here will allow us to get through. So we talked about not forgetting that, and once this worm turns, if it does, and we get back to more of a quote-unquote normal, we can't jump out there and think, okay, we got to make up for a few lost dollars here over the last few years. We got to keep on trucking with what's gotten us through here, and we can't lose sight of that. So back to your original question, couldn't have been prouder, and still am very proud of the way our clubs have dealt with this. And again, when you put it in perspective and you take a look at what families are dealing with, what companies are dealing with, the minor league baseball industry and the International League is in pretty darn good shape.
Here at Huntington Park, things are off and running as we play Game 6 of an 8-game homestand here tonight, and then it's an evening game again tomorrow, another 6:35 first pitch as the Clippers bring in the Toledo Mud Hens, and then day baseball on Thursday. And there you see it, the Roosters 50-cent wing night, so a Wednesday night wing deal, and then Monday, April 26th, the Clippers are back home, and it's dollar deal night. You can get a host of menu items for just $1 each. And then May 1st, the first fireworks show here at Huntington Park, and of course party at the park, which means live music and food and drink specials. So those are some of the things coming up here at Huntington Park. The new pitcher is Stephen Wright. The right-hander is on to face Juan Francisco. For Wright, his 3rd appearance of the young season. In 3 innings, he's allowed 1 run. First and third are the runners, and he misses with the first pitch, making 1-0. Randy Mobley, the International League president, is with us as we bring you our first Sports Time Ohio broadcast of the year. And I know the league sent out the television broadcast schedule for all the teams in the league, and That's something else that has changed in the minor leagues and in AAA as Francisco takes a big swing. A lot more games are finding their way to television.
We do have a lot of games on local, regional televisions, and we're actually going to announce here, well, within the next week or so, a new relationship with the MLB Network. So we'll be doing some things with those folks that we're very excited about. We've had a long relationship with ESPN, and we're going to change gears a little bit and see how we do with the MLB Network folks.
Stephen Wright challenging Francisco with a fastball up around the eyes.
Randy might remember, but in '81, when the big leagues were on strike, sure enough, ESPN would come down and some other networks and pick up the Clipper games. And I don't know if you remember, I remember
Absolutely.
Dick Hauser did some color commentary, and somebody taped all those games, and I'll tell you, it was one of the best presents I ever got, because they handed me 5 or 6 tapes of our games, and now I've got them on the library, and I don't look at them that much, believe me, but there weren't that many good games. But once in a while, stick them in and just have a laugh and see all your old buddies who are 30 pounds lighter, and have a good time with it. So it's a lot of fun.
That was an unusual year, but it was a special year for a lot of folks in the minor leagues.
Here's a called third strike as Wright punches out Francisco. He comes out of the bullpen, and the right-hander gets the job done to keep Louisville with just 2 runs in the inning. Randy, I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for stopping by.
My pleasure. Thanks, Scott. Thanks, Wayne.
Randy, have a good year.
IL President Randy Mobley. We go to the bottom of the 7th, 3-2 bats.
Race to the NBA playoffs is on. NBA League Pass is now offering the NBA Day Pass for only $6.95 per day. Order now to watch the best matchups of the night or follow your favorite teams and players as they fight for a spot in the NBA playoffs. To order, use your remote on channels 560 to 572. Visit dishnetwork.com/basketball or call 1-877-DISH-PPV. Follow the best NBA action with the NBA Day Pass for just $6.95.
If you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt, call this number now.
I owed over $19,000 on my credit card, but I only paid $3,800.
If you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt, call this number or go to debt10000.com and let us help.
I owed over $11,500 on my credit card, but I only paid $3,400.
Call toll-free 888-701-4227 or go to debt10000.com.
Once again, Mike Sarbaugh's Clippers need a rally. Down 3-2 as we move to the home half of the 7th inning. A 2-run top of the 7th has put the bats in front, and now Rick Sweet goes back to his bullpen. Carlos Fisher, the 27-year-old right-hander from California, is on to take the mound. 2-0 with a 2 ERA in AAA last year. Got a taste of the big leagues in Cincinnati. Made a few appearances there, and he delivers a first pitch strike to Trevor Crow, who's had a good night. 2 for 3 for Trevor. Crow, Donald, and then you-know-who, Carlos Santana coming up. Set by Fisher in the pitch. There's a bouncer towards the middle. Second baseman Valleca got him. How about the play by Valleca, throwing across his body, a one-hopper to Drew Sutton at first. Trevor Crow's got speed, and they still were able to throw him out.
Absolutely. Both ends on that one. Valleca and then Sutton with a great pick, because this is an easy hop for a first baseman. The short hops are easy. Watch this one. It just pops up. He did have a little distance to track it, but they get the run. I was saying our table setters have done a great job getting on base, and we really need him right now.
It was interesting to see Valleca as he fielded that ball. It was kind of a tweener. He could have backhanded it, but he chose not to. He scooped it, going away from his body, and then pulled it out and made the throw.
On the run. Tough play.
First pitch of ball to Jason Donald. 2 for 3 tonight is Jason. Big cut and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fastball at 91 miles an hour from Fisher. Carlos Fisher taking over for Chad Reinke, who tonight went an inning and 2/3. No runs, 2 hits. Sam LeCure got the start tonight, 4 1/3. He's off the hook now. Gave up 2 runs in 4 1/3 from 5 hits. Called strike. Carlos Carrasco is done, 6 2/3 as the Clippers starter. 3 runs, 1 earned, 4 hits, 4 strikeouts, and 5 walks. Carrasco with the errant throw at third base, and that was really the play that prevents him from being in position to get a win.
Exactly right. That one play, you got to field your position.
Donald loops one foul beyond the bullpen and into the third row. For those of you seeing this game live on Sports Time Ohio, tomorrow morning, 5 a.m., and then again at noon, you can see the replay of our broadcast. So that is Wednesday, 5 a.m. and noon. This one's fouled away. If you like offense, the Clippers have been your team so far this year. 337 team batting average, 611 slugging percentage, 10 home runs. All of those lead all of minor league baseball. Fastball high and tight to Donald. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And good Louisville pitching kind of shut him down so far, because we're in the 7th.
Well, and you can go back to the first and third innings, missed opportunities, which is something that we haven't seen from this team until tonight. When they've had opportunities, they have cashed them in. But they left the bases loaded twice in the first 3 innings, and now Donald is gone. Fisher coming back with fastball after fastball, and then he goes away from the heater and gets him looking.
Good breaking ball, exactly right. Looking for one more fast one. He froze him with that curveball, and he struck him out.
So here comes Carlos Santana. One swing of the bat from this young man could tie the game. Santana has not homered tonight. He is still hitless, but we did see him reach on a walk in the 5th and steal a base. Oh, and 1.
Big cut. The bats really play him around to pull. The shortstop's literally behind second base. Of course, second baseman in the hole, and they're playing very deep. Outfield, though, other than the left fielder, really pretty straight away. Left fielder shading the gap in left center field. Look at the third baseman playing in the hole between short and third.
Yeah, the outfield's just a tad shaded towards right. Not nearly as dramatic as the shift in the infield. You're right. The 0-1. All the way to the backstop.
I'd like to see him hook one around that foul pole down there. He got the little wind, still working to that right field corner.
Shelley Duncan waits on deck if Santana reaches. Called strike. Santana turned away from it.
That's that tailing fastball where you can almost run it right at the shoulder of the lefty, and it tails back over the plate. I thought the ball was up, but it must have been just at the letters on the inside corner. He'd start about at his elbow there as you look in from center field and tail it back over the plate.
Taps this one back to the mound, and this will be a 1-2-3 inning for Carlos Fisher. So the Louisville bullpen has been outstanding thus far. Taking over for starter Sam LeCure, they have held the Clippers at bay. 7 innings in the books here at Huntington Park. It's still 3-2, Louisville in front.
Yes, my queen, enjoy your power, for you deserve it. You've been a wise voice in the rise of our kingdom, Downloadia. You want speed, you shall have all you need, even unto a burst of speed, to download video of our trip to the Canyon of Grandeur.
What?
Did you see my cowboy hat?
Get Roadrunner now with Power Boost and revel in the power of you. Upgrade to digital cable for less than $15 per month.
What could be better than watching the Tribe hit a home run? Watching them hit it on your brand new HD TV. Sports Time Ohio, WTAM, and HH Gregg are giving you the chance to win an HD TV every time an Indian hits a homer during the month of April. Go to STOHD.com to register. Then when an Indian hits a homer in April, you could win a high-def TV. The next morning, tune in to Wills and Snyder on News Radio WTAM 1100 at 7 o'clock for a second chance to win in the great HH Gregg HD TV giveaway.
Now there's a whole new way to get your abs firm, tightened, toned, and sexy without ever doing a crunch or sit-up. It's called the Contour Core Sculpting System, guaranteed to give you the best abs you'll ever have. Contour is a safe and extremely effective muscle stimulation device, FDA cleared for sale without a prescription, that stimulates your core muscles directly. In fact, thermographic testing proves Contour activates your entire core. The Contour is so effective that these photos show the stunning changes that you too can achieve with the Contour. The Contour Core Sculpting System comes with a one-size-fits-all Contour core belt, electronic controller, batteries, and 1-year warranty, plus an instructional guide and sensible eating plan. It's everything you need to lose 3 inches off your midsection in just 2 weeks, guaranteed. And it's all yours to try for 30 days for just $14.95. There's never been an easier, more effective way to get great-looking abs. Call and order now.
3-2, the Louisville Bats lead the Columbus Clippers as we go to the 8th inning. Columbus Clippers baseball here on Sports Time Ohio. We are glad you're with us this evening. The Clippers getting 2 runs in the 3rd, but that is it. They've left the bases loaded a couple of times, some missed opportunities. And now Louisville comes to the bat, looking to add to their lead, and the guy that will lead off is Danny Dorn, who has been the Bats MVP of the series without a doubt. His homer in the 2nd started the scoring tonight. Hector Ambriz is on to pitch for the Clippers. Ambriz, the Cleveland Indian Rule 5 selection back in December at the winter meetings. He is on a set schedule, pitching a day, getting a day or 2 off. Acquired from the Arizona Diamondbacks in the Rule 5 draft, which means that he has to stay on the big league roster or be offered back to his former club. Called strike.
Well, Clippers need to hold them down right here. They got 6 outs to push across a couple runs. Obviously, they got the offense to do it. Can the bullpen keep the Bats in check?
Ambriz sets at the letters and pitches. Good breaking ball there and a big swing and a miss. So Carlos Carrasco got the start tonight, and he went 6 2/3. Stephen Wright pitches a 1/3 of an inning, getting out of that 7th inning jam. And now Ambriz here in the 8th. Blocked by Santana, 2-2.
Didn't quite have the rhythm on that breaking ball. He's bounced a couple of them in. 2-2. Let's see if he goes back to the fastball.
2nd appearance of the season for Ambriz. 1 inning previous, he allowed 3 hits but struck out 2 and did not give up any runs. He does. Fastball, and it is hit in the air to left field, which will chase Jimenez back, but he's got it. 1 away.
Hit right on the nose again by Dorn, but I'll tell you, that wind's coming in from that left field, actually a crosswind, left to right, so that's going to knock that ball down.
Here comes Drew Sutton.
First baseman, Drew Sutton.
Ambriz looks in to get the sign from Santana. He's ready. First pitch. Bunt attempt, rolled foul. Before we forget, a big thank you to the director of merchandise for the Columbus Clippers, Krista Oberlander.
He's got some nice gear out there, I'll tell you.
With her help, yeah, with her help, we were able to clean up nice with some great Clippers gear. And we did tell her we would mention this. They've got some retro t-shirts out in the Clippers cargo shop in left field, paying tribute to the Clippers of the 1980s, the old logo, retro style t-shirts. When you get out here to Huntington Park, or if you're on the website at clippersbaseball.com, check out these retro t-shirts. They're made by Homage Clothing Company, which is based right here in Columbus. We were out there earlier. I was about to pick up a couple. I'll have to do that later. Here's a called 3rd strike, and Hector Ambriz is off to a pretty good start, 2 away.
No doubt. He seemed to find that fastball. The breaking ball hadn't got him anywhere, but he's got good velocity on that fastball, and it's moving. So the hitters have not been able to gauge that fastball at all. You mentioned those t-shirts. Those are the logos back when I was playing. So, you know, I'm going to buy one because I don't think I have any left. They wouldn't fit anyway.
You can order Clippers cargo gear online at clippersbaseball.com as well. Here's a strike. 0-1 to Zach Cozart, the shortstop. Cozart 1 for 3 tonight. He singled in the 7th inning and came around to score the game-tying run on the errant throw by Carrasco at third. There's a strike.
Good breaking ball there. That's the first one I think he's thrown for a strike.
The Indians liked Ambriz enough to scoop him up in the Rule 5 draft, and now they want to see what he can do when he's healthy. So he's on the Major League DL, and much like Russell Branyan, getting his work in almost an extended spring training, if you will, here in AAA. 25 years of age, out of Orange, California. Was a 12-game winner in the minor leagues last year. Good frame, 6'2", 235. Pitch in the dirt.
Here's that 2-out walk situation again. Just don't like it. Extends the innings. Fielders get back on their heels, and everybody goes, oh no. So you want to make them hit the ball right here.
He made him hit it, but it's a ground ball base hit into left field to extend the inning.
Yep.
A 2-out single for Cozart will bring up Wilkin Castillo. So a fly out to left, a strikeout, and now a Cozart single. This broadcast copyrighted through the authority of the Columbus Clippers, the International League, and the National Association of Professional Baseball Leagues, Inc. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or dissemination of this broadcast without the express written consent is expressly prohibited. Throw over to first and a dive back in by Cozart.
Yeah, Clippers think he's going to run because you got nothing to lose. You got a 1-run lead. If you can get him to second and get a base hit, pad that lead. That 2 runs is so much bigger than that 1-run lead.
Big swing and a miss on the fastball. Ambriz can get it up there.
94 on the clock.
Wow.
That thing up and away. Couldn't catch up with it.
The set again by the right-hander and the 0-1. There's a called strike to make it 0-2, and now Wilkin Castillo has his back against the wall.
See if the Clippers do a pseudo pitch out here with a pitch to waste.
The 0-2.
Ooh,
it was close.
Missed.
Here's another look at it, Wayne. Ambriz trying to catch the corner.
Just a little bit outside.
I was surprised that it was that close. I thought he would waste one.
Whoa.
There's a line shot, but foul past Wes Hodges at first.
You know, just an observation right there on Santana on the 0-2 pitch. You notice how his glove kind of slid out. And they, again, not a big thing, but maybe they'll teach him to cradle that ball and kind of cheat that ball in, you know.
Santana looking over towards the first base dugout. Ambriz is ready after getting the sign, and they punch him out. Hector Ambriz with a couple of called third strikes in his inning of work as he continues his rehab stint down from Cleveland. A base hit for Cozart. He is left on. It's the middle of the 8th at Huntington Park, and it's 3-2 Louisville over the Clippers.
Nationwide Insurance, talk to me.
For once, I'd just like to see my insurance bill get smaller.
Jen will switch to Nationwide Insurance if you create something that automatically scans her policy to find discounts she earns as her life changes. And you have 5 seconds.
This could save me money, right?
Oh, yeah. You can't do anything in 5 seconds. Here we go. Rednip Nuskin. Love it.
Discount finder.
Even better.
Oh, thanks.
That's great.
Yeah.
If new tires you're debating on this song beat, concentrating, just call Conrad's, start the saving. Price plus everything you crave is here and waiting.
Springtime is savings time at Conrad's.
Mastercraft already stands for incredible value. Now get a big $50 rebate on sets of 4 Mastercraft tires, plus 45 minutes or less installation on most cars. Get the details at econrads.com for price plus everything you want.
Second game of a brief 2-game series between the Clippers and the Louisville Bats. The Battle of Ohio, the AAA edition, with the Indians and the Cincinnati Reds top farm clubs squaring off. You really have 2 Battle of Ohio's when you talk about AAA in this league, because you have the Indians and Reds AAA teams playing head-to-head, but then also you've got Columbus and Toledo, which are the 2 AAA teams located in the Buckeye State. So the Clippers have rivals all over the place.
Exactly right. That old Mud Hen rivalry goes way back.
Here comes Shelley Duncan. Duncan, Hodges, and Busher coming up. First pitch in for a strike at the knees. Duncan is 0 for 2 tonight, reached on a walk way back in the first inning. Ball low and inside. Carlos Carrasco is on the hook for the loss. Here's a bouncer to first base. Sutton will take it. Give this Louisville pitching staff credit, because this is as handcuffed as this Clippers lineup has been. The Clippers had some great chances early, didn't cash in, and since then, the Bats pitchers have done a good job.
They sure have. I mean, they've for the most part, thrown strikes. The starter, LeCure, was on the ropes, as we said, a couple innings. And what happens there, you give that guy a little life, and he hangs in there for 5 or 6 and turns it over the bullpen. Then you can get beat. There's a ball hit well.
This is Anirio Del Rosario, and a deep fly ball from Hodges, which is off the wall. Hodges will go to second, a 1-out stand-up double. So he continues to swing a hot bat. Hodges had an RBI single in that 2-run third, so he's now 2 for 3 on the night.
Watch where this ball hits. It's not that far from a home run. Off the screen, about halfway up over the green wall. And remember, it gets a yellow line, it's gone. And that ball carried very well to the farthest point of the ballpark.
There is no activity in the Louisville bullpen, Wayne, so the new pitcher, Anirio Del Rosario, this is his inning. He took over for Carlos Fisher, who pitched in the 7th and shut him down. He struck out 1 batter. 4th pitcher used by the Bats. Brian Busher takes a first pitch ball.
And he had a double his last trip. I'll take a blooper over third.
Busher can put a charge in it.
Oh, I think he got it.
Back to the warning track. This is Heisey.
Nope.
He's got it. At the base of the wall, Wayne, he had you fooled. Going to third is Wes Hodges, 2 down in the inning.
I thought he got a little more of it when it left the bat.
I thought you were going to jump out the broadcast booth.
I was going to push it out to right field.
Somebody get a seatbelt for this guy.
I thought he had enough of it, but he didn't.
Anderson Hernandez will be the batter. The tying run now stands 90 feet away with 2 down.
Last year, again, you did all the games on the radio. I mean, as short as that porch is, there weren't that many home runs, am I right?
For the size of the ballpark, there were not as many as a lot of us anticipated. You look down the right field line and you see 318 in the right field corner.
You can reach out and touch it, the green monster.
These left-handed hitters, they start foaming at the mouth.
Right. Then they start pulling off the ball and popping up and everything else. So
Ted Power is going to take a visit to the mound here.
Where everybody thought there'd be a ton of home runs to right field in this ballpark, as I recall, coming out to, as I said, 10, 12, 15 games.
John Adkins is now throwing down in the Bats bullpen as Rosario tries to get the 3rd out of the inning and keep Louisville in front. Not much of a conference there. Ted Power, the longtime member of the Cincinnati Reds organization, he went out and a quick thought here or there and back to the dugout. Hernandez takes the ball. Fastball clocking at 90 miles an hour from Rosario. And there you see Saul Rivera. He is serving as the Clippers closer here to start the season. But as is often the case in AAA and in the minor leagues, the roles will sort of rotate for everybody in that bullpen, because in Cleveland they want to see all these guys throw multiple innings and be able to come back and pitch on back-to-back days and things of that nature. But for right now, when there is a save situation, Rivera will be the guy, and that's what Mike Sarbaugh is hoping. He's hoping his team can push a couple of runs across, and then Rivera could try and come in and close it. Hernandez takes ball 4, so now the go-ahead run is aboard.
Well, I'm sure they didn't want that unless they wanted the matchup right to right. That's maybe what they said. Be careful with this guy, Hernandez, and let's pitch to Jimenez.
Well, Jimenez has struggled. There is no question about that. He is 0 for 3 tonight. And now he is hitless in his last 10 at-bats after homering in his first plate appearance of the season. It's a good night to have the rally towels here at the ballpark, because the Clippers are trying to rally for the second time. They handed rally towels to us earlier.
Absolutely, they handed it out to everybody. Let's see if they can work right now.
Jimenez takes ball 1. The right-handed batting catcher slash first baseman slash corner outfielder. He's listed on the Clippers roster now as an outfielder because he won't see any time behind the plate with Carlos Santana here and Damaso Espino serving as the backup. So Jimenez is going to be learning the ropes at the corner outfield spots here in Columbus. The 27-year-old California native played 39 games last year with the Clippers before getting the call up to the bigs. Takes a ball. It's 2-1. 19th round draft pick in 2004. Caught the eye of now former Tribe manager Eric Wedge during spring training last year. He became that super utility man, third catcher. Play the corner outfield spots. If you need somebody at first base in an emergency, he's your guy. The problem for Chris became not getting consistent at bats while he was in the bigs. It's tough to get your swing back when you're not playing.
Right, swing and timing and see live pitching.
The 2-2. Big cut. Did he get a piece of it? And he is out on strikes. It fell out of the glove of Corky Miller, but the Bats veteran catcher applies the tag. That's a strikeout, and the Clippers are turned away. A double, a walk, but they leave them both stranded. And after 8 innings in Columbus, it remains the Louisville Bats 3 and the Clippers 2.
One value meal coming right up. Get rid of the pickle.
What?
86 the tomato. Goodbye lettuce.
I wanted all that.
Well, sure you do, but you ordered the value meal.
At a certain point, a value meal stops being a value. Get real value and then some at Wendy's. For just $2.99, get the works piled on our Double Junior Cheeseburger Deluxe and even Applewood smoked bacon on our all-white meat crispy chicken deluxe. Each with fries and a drink, now just $2.99.
You know when it's real.
I'm back in the saddle again. Out where a friend is a friend.
Where the longhorn cattle feed on the lonely gypsum weed.
Back in the saddle again. See how affordable an RV vacation can be. Visit GoRVing.com and watch a free video. Go affordably, go RVing.
Don't let an IRS tax debt ruin your life. If you're suffering from financial distress, here's important information you'll want to hear. The IRS just announced brand new rules that now make it easier for struggling taxpayers to settle their back tax debt. Don't put this problem off any longer. Tax relief is available. Call J.K. Harris today.
Over the past decade, more than 200,000 taxpayers have hired J.K. Harris, the nation's largest tax representation firm. At J.K. Harris, our tax team will fight for you. Just as we fought for so many others, we'll work to get you off that IRS treadmill and help you solve your tax dilemma, starting with an in-person meeting, not an impersonal phone call. So if you're over your head in IRS tax debt and don't know where to turn, call the tax team at J.K. Harris today for a free face-to-face meeting.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, don't wait another minute. Call J.K. Harris today. Don't miss this incredible opportunity. Let J.K. Harris fight for you. Call 1-800-716-5913.
Ninth inning here in Columbus. 3-2 Louisville, and the Clippers will go back to their bullpen and bring on Saul Rivera, the 32-year-old from San Juan, Puerto Rico, coming over from the Washington Nationals organization as a minor league free agent. Rivera on the mound for the third time so far this year. In his two previous appearances, 1 inning each time, he's allowed 1 hit, 2 walks, with a strikeout. And he will face Chris Valaika for Louisville. Valaika, Miller, and Anderson, 8, 9, and 1 due up. And a first pitch swing here by Valaika results in a high pop foul into the seats down the first base side. Well, the Clippers will have one more chance. It's Rivera's job to keep them within 1. Constanza, Crow, and Donald, 9, 1, and 2 due up. Wild pitch to the backstop. Constanza's had a rough night. He's 0 for 3. He's hit into a double play, but Crow and Donald at the top of the order each have a couple of hits. So we'll see if those guys can come up big for the Clippers in their final chance. Valaika fouls this one off the end of his bat.
Well, most of the Hardy fans have stayed around, cooled off a little bit since we got going at 6:35. But again, the Clippers faithful are hoping for that big rally in the bottom of the 9th.
The first 2 nights of the Clippers season, Thursday and Friday, were a bit chilly, and the wind picking up tonight has made it for a cool night at the ballpark as Valaika fouls one back and into the club seats behind home plate. Rivera sets and pitches. There's a shot towards right field, but right at Trevor Crow, who puts the leather on it. 1 down. If you're watching our broadcast live, don't forget a couple of replay possibilities ahead. Tomorrow, Wednesday, 5 a.m. and noon. You can check this one out again. Carlos Carrasco got the start tonight. And officially, the Venezuelan right-hander went 6 2/3 innings and threw 98 pitches, 56 strikes. But he is on the hook for the loss. He allowed 3 runs. Only 1 was earned because of his own throwing error to third base in that 7th inning.
And just hate to see that. He threw a pretty good ball game. He kept the bats, off the bases for the most part. Gave up the home run to Danny Dorn, but other than that, he was in pretty good shape.
His control struggled a bit. He walked 5, struck out 4, fly ball to center. Constanza, the wind is playing tricks on him, but he'll stay with it and make the play in right center. So Corky Miller is out number 2. Juan Francisco having a good time with his teammates. They lead it by a run, trying to get a split out of this series. And then the bats will leave town. The Toledo Mud Hens will come a-calling tomorrow. But these teams will not be apart for very long. They will see each other again in Louisville at Louisville Slugger Field on Friday night. And the Clippers are scheduled to face the Cuban sensation, Aroldis Chapman, the Reds' $30 million man that they signed in the offseason.
And before I forget, Scott, I don't know if I ever asked you, because with all the new ballparks Randy talked about, what's your favorite town to visit in this league? Ballpark, town, the whole kit and caboodle.
We're very lucky in the International League West because we've got 4 great ballparks, Toledo, Indianapolis, and Louisville, and 4 tremendous cities. If I were going to have to pick one, I'd probably say Indianapolis. Good ballpark, great city to spend a few days in. Louisville would be a close second. And if there's a bronze medal, it goes to Toledo, because every time I'm in Toledo, I have lunch at Tony Pacco's right next to the ballpark.
There you go.
Can't be beat. There's another foul ball as Josh Anderson, the leadoff man, tries to erase that donut. He is 0 for 4 on the night. It looks like he broke his bat.
Yeah, he did. Hit it right on the end, and it just squirted over the dugout over there at third, but he cracked that one, and he's got to get a new one. Well, that's interesting. All your favorites are in this division. How about in the other division?
I was going to say, outside of the division, I like Durham a lot. Great ballpark. In the North Division, we talked to International League President Randy Mobley. He mentioned the All-Star game at Lehigh Valley. They've got a new park in Allentown, PA. Here's a bouncer to short. Coming to get it is Jason Donald. And Saul Rivera puts together a very uneventful inning of relief work. And that means we go to the last of the 9th. One last chance for Columbus. It's Constanza, Crow, and Donald coming up.
Over 260 destinations. A world of opportunity. One airline makes international travel seamless. Continental Airlines. Work hard, fly right.
Bottom of the 9th inning. And the Clippers need a run to tie. They need 2 to win it, as you see the Worthington Industries line score. 8 hits for the Clippers, so they've out-hit the opposition, but where it counts, they're down by 1. Here comes Jose Constanza. John Adkins on the mound for the Louisville Bats, the 32-year-old from Huntington, West Virginia. Last year pitched in Korea. Adkins, 6'1", 205 pounds. He's on to try and slam the door shut here against the Clippers. He becomes the 5th pitcher used tonight by Rick Sweet. Each of these teams 3-2 on the year, so the winner can walk out of here a first-place team. First pitch, a strike to Constanza. He's 0 for 3 tonight. A tapper back to the mound, a ground out to second, and a 4-6-3 double play his last time up. He's down 0-2. Here's a ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Constanza, as we talked about earlier, set the franchise record for stolen bases in Akron last year as part of their Eastern League Championship. Covers a lot of ground in the outfield. He's not going to hit for power, but the last time I said that here, he homered 10 seconds later.
Good, say it again. We just need him to get on base.
Last year was his 2nd full season in Double-A, and when the announcement came that Michael Brantley was going to start the year in the bigs, that meant Jose Constanza was going to start here in Columbus. Slaps that one foul. A .378 on-base percentage last year, a .379 career OBP in the minors. The 2-2.
Oh, hit it hard.
Towards center, coming to get it, unable to get there is Josh Anderson. Leadoff single, and the tying run is aboard.
Well, that's about as good as you could start. Now, how do you want to play it?
He squared that one up.
Yeah, he sure did. He stayed right on top of the baseball. You know, the ball was up a little bit, and he stayed on top. Didn't uppercut it. Turned high on it, drove it to center field.
Here comes Trevor Crow. Crow has a couple of base knocks tonight, a single in the first, a single in the third. He has grounded out twice since then.
If they bunt. They will.
He pulls it back. And it's 1-0.
Boy, it's tempting to pull it back and try to slap it by that third baseman when he's halfway in like that. But you got to make sure you hit the ball on the ground when you do that.
They are waving the rally towels. And the Clippers are trying to take both games from the Bats after beating them last night. 2-0.
Well, if you're Louisville, you want to make them bunt it. You want to let them bunt it, then take the out. Because if you walk them, then you got the winning run on first. You can bunt them both over.
If you can get Costanza to second, you're in business, because just about any base hit will score him with his speed. He bunts it foul.
Some managers will switch that up. You're 2-0. You're probably going to get a pretty good pitch to hit. Start the runner and make sure you hit it on the ground.
Here's what we talked about earlier, the importance of getting a bunt down.
Yep.
The leadoff man is at the plate. You got to have your leadoff man laying down a bunt for you. Let's see if Crow can do it. The 2-1.
Oh, there it is.
It's
Took it
a
off.
base hit. Took the bunt sign off, and Trevor Crow comes through. So the potential winning run is on base with nobody out.
Well, again, he knew he was going to get a ball to hit because he can't walk this guy. So he's going to get a fastball thinking he's going to bunt again. And the Clippers crossed him up and a solid base hit to left field. Now we are in business.
Yes, sir. Here comes Jason Donald.
Just stay out of the double play.
Donald has 2 hits tonight. And actually,
now the Bats will put a play on. They might put the wheel on where the third baseman charges, shortstop goes to third and covers it. There's
Trevor Crow's got great speed at first, too, so the Clippers have some real possibilities.
There's 2 or 3 plays here. You can do the wheel, like I said. He comes in, shortstop over. Then you can fake that and then wheel and try to pick off with the second baseman coming back in. Or you can just stay and play it straight, stay where you are. So the third baseman will give a signal between every pitch on what play they're going to put on. Boy, you're looking good if you can get a bunt down here and move them up.
Adkins delivers. Called strike. 1-1.
Just get it down on the grass there in front of the plate. Just kill the baseball with the end of the bat, and you're in business.
He showed bunt, but that pitch was down and away. Costanza at second, Trevor Crow at first. 3-2, Louisville leading here in the bottom of the 9th. The closer for the Bats, Adkins, trying to do just that, close it out.
It's a beauty.
They'll get the out at first base, but now a base hit could win it for Columbus. Nicely done, Jason Donald, sacrifice. So here's Carlos Santana, the top prospect in the Indians organization.
And I think they'll probably put him on intentionally to set up the force play at any base. I mean, the winning run's already out at second, so putting him on doesn't really hurt you. And it helps your options to have a force at any base.
And the crowd here at Huntington Park is going to let the Bats hear about it. They're going to intentionally pass Santana and pitch to Shelley Duncan with the bases full.
And really the only move you should do, because it sets up the double play. You can come third to first. You can do it, play the infielders at halfway around second, and have your traditional 6-4-3 or 4-6-3. And it hits the corners, you can come home to first.
Shelly Duncan is 0 for 3 tonight with a walk and a run scored. And he is going to be the batter after they pass Santana. Here comes ball 4. You have to be careful here that you don't throw it to the backstop. Yeah. I've seen that before. So now they're loaded up, and here comes Ted Power wearing his purple Louisville Bats coat. He'll make his way out and chat with Adkins, and Corky Miller will be in on this discussion as well. So you have the reigning International League Most Valuable Player, Shelly Duncan, coming up. Coming off of a season with the Yankees AAA club in which he homered 30 times, drove in 99, batted .277. The Clippers are looking for him to drive in 2 here and deliver a win for this faithful crowd.
Yeah, base hit wins it. I'll take a sac fly, a pass ball. Anything but a double play.
Shelly Duncan.
Clippers haven't had a walk-off homer since September 1st of 2006. Now would be a good time for Shelly Duncan to come up big.
Yeah, why not?
Anthony Schlosser, our stats guru, coming up large in anticipation of a big swing of the bat. First pitch in the dirt for a ball as Duncan steps out of the box.
And if you're Santana at first, you got to make sure that guy doesn't deliver a relay on a double play ball. You got to take out that guy at second.
There's
oh, get down, get down.
Tie game. RBI single, Shelly Duncan.
Boy, he didn't waste any time. Hit it right on the nose to right field.
3-3 with Wes Hodges coming up. A 9th inning rally for the home team.
An emergency call to the Bats bullpen. They're going to get somebody loose as fast as they can. Let's see how fast they can stall to get him ready.
Jesus Delgado will start tossing in the pen. But now the Clippers are a base hit, a wild pitch, a pass ball, or a walk away from winning this game. And even a sacrifice fly would do the job. There's only 1 out.
So the corners will come in to come home. The middle infielders will play the double play. But if you're the outfield, you got to cheat in. Because a fly ball is going to score him anyway.
Double play.
Wow.
A 5-3 twin killing. Francisco backhands it right at the bag. Hodges hits into the double play to send us to extra innings. So 9 innings, not enough to decide it here tonight at Huntington Park. We are tied at 3.
This guy I met online, he could be anyone.
How can I know who to trust? With BeenVerified.com, you can run instant background checks right from your home computer for free.
With Been Verified, I know exactly who I'm meeting before the first date.
My accountant, my mortgage broker, and even my electrician. Now I know I can trust him.
No stranger comes around my growing family without a background check. Search anyone, even yourself. What turns up just might surprise you.
BeenVerified.com.
Visit BeenVerified.com/TV72 now.
Saul Rivera will stay on to pitch as we go to extra innings here in downtown Columbus from the Arena District at Huntington Park. Scott Leo and Wayne Hare coming your way tonight. The Clippers pushing across, a run in the 9th. Jose Constanza scoring on a Shelly Duncan base hit. But then Wes Hodges hits into a 5-3 double play, so 9 innings, not enough to decide this one tonight.
Boy, we had our chances, didn't we? He hit it right on the nose, but right at the third baseman. Stepped on third, threw across the diamond and doubled him up, and that killed the rally. So we got extra frames tonight.
Free baseball for the folks here at the ballpark. Saul Rivera ready to face Chris Heisey. First pitch taken for a ball. It is the first extra innings game of the season for the Clippers. Louisville has not played one either until tonight. A ball low makes it 2-0 to Heisey. Cincinnati Reds prospect Chris Heisey, ranked 4th in the Baseball America prospect rankings this year. There's a bouncer to short. Jason Donald makes the throw. Hodges gloves it 1 away.
Well, all you can do is set him back down and try to get another run across.
Here's where Mike Sarbaugh and Charlie Nagy like the fact that they have Saul Rivera in their bullpen. He was the odd man out in the chase for the Indians' final spot in spring training. Has an out clause to be able to leave if he's not in the bigs by mid-May, but for now, he comes here, he provides a veteran presence out of the Clippers pen, and then also every night he goes out there, he's auditioning for a spot in Cleveland.
Absolutely. He can only get better and get ready to pitch, because you know to get to May, they're bound to have a sore arm or somebody just not getting anybody out. They can bring him up.
Francisco fouling that one back against the net to make it 0-2. They are looking on from the Clippers dugout. Here comes the 0-2. Upstairs, 1-2. Juan Francisco can hit the baseball a long way when he gets a hold of one. The challenge becomes keeping it away from him. Or as Carlos Carrasco did earlier, challenging him with those fastballs up in the zone that he couldn't get around on. 2-2. .91-mile-an-hour fastball from Rivera.
And Francisco really hadn't caught up to a fastball all night. He's probably had 8 or 10 balls over the left field side there. Left field stands. He just can't seem to catch up that good fastball.
And he's gone on strikes here. 2 down in the inning. Rivera gets him chasing. Here we'll take a look at the pitch-by-pitch sequence.
Yeah, there's a good fastball, didn't catch up. Another one that fouled off to the left. One up high, he wasted 0-2, and then the good ball down. Another foul ball to the left, and then the slider down and in, he got him.
Saul Rivera and Carlos Santana teaming up as pitcher-catcher, and they had it all going on that sequence.
And that's the other benefit here with the veteran pitcher and the rookie catcher. You know, he can teach the kid, too, what he wants to throw in certain situations to certain hitters.
Danny Dorn takes low and inside, 2-0. One of the concerns with Santana is that from time to time he'll tend to get a little breaking ball happy instead of letting a guy throw that fastball in there, and I think that's something that the coaching staff here in Columbus is working with Carlos on. The comment was made the other day that sometimes he calls the game based upon how he thinks he would be called.
Right.
If he were batting.
Right, which is probably a steady stream of breaking balls. He doesn't like them.
Ball 4, 4-pitch walk to Danny Dorn.
Well, they're afraid of Dorn in this series. He had 3 hits last night. He has the home run tonight. So they just didn't want him to beat us.
Here comes Drew Sutton. He's 0 for 4 tonight. Was called out looking in the 8th. $11 hits for the Clippers, 5 for the Bats. And a 3-3 tie game here in the 10th inning as Sutton cuts on the first one and comes up empty.
Yeah, Scott, the Clippers have left 11. So you know we've had our chances.
Left the bases loaded in 2 of the first 3 innings and had the bases loaded in the 9th and scored 1 run, but then hit into a double play. Soft liner to short, And Saul Rivera does the job here in the top half of the 10th inning. So the Clippers will come back to the plate with a chance to win it. It's Busher, Hernandez, and Jimenez coming up here at Huntington Park in Columbus. We have had a thriller here at Huntington Park as we go to the bottom of the 10th inning, and the Louisville Bats go back to the bullpen. They will bring on right-hander Jesus Delgado, who we saw last night in the opening game of this series. The 26-year-old from Venezuela. Last year pitched in the Pacific Coast League with Tacoma, 3-3, a 6.59 ERA, and he's on here in the bottom of the 10th. Follow the Clippers on Facebook and Twitter. Great deals through the Clippers Cargo Shop by following the Clippers online, plus a ticket deal tonight. If you're a friend of the Clippers on Facebook tonight, you got an offer for $5 seats anywhere in the ballpark. So nothing but good things can happen if you follow the Clippers online. Check us out at clippersbaseball.com. Busher takes a first pitch strike. And don't forget the View from the Booth blog page. Yours truly, blogging until my fingers are numb.
I got to check that one out.
Busher taps this one down the first base line, but foul.
So that'll keep me up to speed between broadcasts.
Absolutely.
Telecast.
Starting lineups are on there every day. We do the clippings section, which is just simply bullet points about the game the night before, any statistical information that's worth noting. Sometimes we even tell a joke or two.
Can't wait.
0-2 to Busher. He's 1 for 3 tonight. And he bounces this one towards the second baseman, Valleca. 1 away. Here comes Anderson Hernandez. Hernandez has been on base a bunch tonight. He's walked twice, and he has 1 hit. So officially 1 for 2 for the switch hitting second baseman. I mentioned we saw Jesus Delgado in last night's game. That was his first appearance of the season, being placed on the Louisville roster before the series. Another 4-3 ground out coming up.
And Delgado's got the sinker going tonight.
Yes, he does. Here's Chris Jimenez.
Well, you got the feeling, of course, nobody wants to lose a ball game, but especially this one. The Clippers do not want this one to get away. All the opportunities they've had, they've left 11. And boy, they want to figure out a way to push a run across and win this thing.
Well, this is one of those games that if you lose it, it keeps you up at night because you think about all the missed opportunities that you had. If you go out and you just get your butts kicked
10-1 or whatever,
that's one thing.
Then you can just forget about it.
Right, but if you leave double-digit base runners out there,
and you know, at the throwing error,
and had a throwing error that allowed 2 runs to score. Yep. Fastball low. Jimenez 0 for 4 tonight. Struck out swinging in the 8th inning. Went down looking back in the 2nd. He's missed some opportunities tonight. 7 runners left on base for Chris Jimenez. But he's ahead 3-0. Jose Constanza waiting on deck if Jimenez should reach. Taking all the way, it's a strike. Beating the Louisville Bats would soothe the hearts and minds of the Clippers faithful after the Clippers lost 15 times to these guys last year.
Wow, I forgot about that one. Oh, get up!
To deep left field. Chris Jimenez has won the game for Columbus. His 2nd home run of the season. He homered in his first at bat of the year and didn't have a hit since then until just now.
Wow, a walk-off home run.
A shot to the lawn seating area in left center field. And he is mobbed at home plate. A clubhouse favorite, Chris Jimenez, plays hero tonight as the Clippers tied it in the 9th, and they win it in the 10th.
Boy, just got a high fastball and got right on top of it, drove it into the lawn area in left center field, and I'll tell you what, that one had to be close to 400 feet.
A nice poke by Jimenez. Handshakes, high fives.
There's a look.
Fist bumps all around.
Yep, up high at the letters. Notice how he raised up on his toes, stay on top of the baseball. And boy, I think he knew it. I just wanted to make sure it was high enough, see where this thing hits. Oh yeah, it cleared by quite a bit out there in left center field.
Delgado really dug himself a hole. He fell behind 3-0 in the count. Jimenez was taking all the way for a strike to make it 3-1, and Chris was looking fastball. Letters high. He rips it out of the ballpark. Chris getting all kinds of attention down there after that home run. So the Clippers, when it's all said and done, get 4 runs off of 12 hits with 1 error. Louisville, 3 runs, 5 hits, and no errors. And the Clippers will see Sal Rivera get the victory, his first decision of the year. And Jesus Delgado takes the loss, giving up the bomb. There it is, the Sodexo line score. Your totals for the night: the Clippers, 12 hits. They left 11 on base, but a Chris Jimenez walk-off homer gives them the win tonight. And Chris is with us just outside the Clippers dugout on the first base side. Chris, how does that feel?
Oh man, that's a lot better than not get any hits at all.
Your first at bat of the season, you go deep here at Huntington Park, and you and I had talked before the season about how you just wanted to get off to a good start because you had that miserable start last year, 0 for your first 21. After the homer, though, all of a sudden it started to dry up on you. How good was it just to come up big in that situation?
I mean, just to make solid contact in that situation is all I'm looking for. I had a couple of chances early in the game and kind of let them slip through my fingers, so I just told myself to go up there and just be short to it and long through it, and we'll see what happens.
Chris Jimenez with us, he's down on the field. Go ahead, Wayne.
I did, yeah. I mean, I didn't.
He got the shaving cream pie.
I can't see anything now.
Chris, we'll let you go. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
On the night.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right, game-winning home run for Chris Jimenez, and as is typical when you hit the game-winning homer and you're being interviewed for post-game on TV, the teammates make you pay. Four to 3, the Clippers win it here tonight.
There we go.
At Huntington Park, and on the season, the Clippers push their record to 4-2, taking both games from the bats in this brief 2-game series.
Oh.
Carlos Carrasco pitched well as the starter, but he was unable to get the win. The bullpen gets the win thanks to the rally. A run in the 9th and one in the 10th. So the Clippers win it 4-3. Our next Sports Time Ohio broadcast comes your way on April 29th. We will talk to you then. For Wayne Harris, Scott Leo, our entire crew, 4-3, the Clippers over the Bats in 10.